made it.
We made it. It's Friday, day 4.
Yep.
We finally did it, Anthony.
We did. I can't believe it, man. It seemed like just yesterday we were, getting started, getting things set up for this show.
It was. I think it was Tuesday.
Okay, so like 3 days ago, right? Yeah, a lot of preparation, months of preparation.
Right, yeah. No, it was, I feel like my mic is not on. That's weird.
Hey, there you're
So,
just get closer to me, talk louder.
One of the great things is that, like we said, day 4, we've had a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
We had Tuesday, kicked it off.
Yep.
Great day, lots of information. I hope all of you guys at home really enjoyed it. Then Wednesday, arguably the most talent-heavy day, as we say.
I would like to think that everybody is talented.
Everybody is talent-heavy. Say that. But we had...
It was packed. It was packed.
We had a lot of people in here. And, that was a lot of shifts, a lot of movements, all that stuff. So kudos to our camera crew for taking and getting everything done. Our production team behind this wall.
Yes, yeah.
Basically, Nick and Tim on the other side there.
Dane's stuck somewhere else as well. I mean, everybody's kind of, around here putting in their work and making this all possible. And what's crazy is how many different camera angles we have, right? And how much we've been able to use and how little you've seen, the people behind the camera, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'd like to think of that as a big success.
It's kind of the goal. We don't want to see the camera people all the time. But as you guys have been hanging out with us, we really, really appreciate it. Hopefully you've been enjoying these last 4 days of some great detailing information from all over the world. Seriously. And we couldn't do this without one of our corporate sponsors, Pepsi.
Here it is, yes. Okay, all right. Last day. Get it all in now while you can.
That's right. You got to get it. Got to let everybody know that Pepsi's been a great sponsor of ours, right?
they have.
They've been helping us out with TRCMA, which I'm very thankful for, and our friends at Konig Wheels.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, those guys have been great, and then on top of that, Home to Suites by Hilton. Chris West said it best. Best night's sleep ever.
You guys, we can't make this stuff up.
Amazing.
I don't know.
We actually have people who've helped us do this. So thank you guys for helping get this whole rigmarole going. Now, for those of you watching, you guys have been, probably from all over the world wondering, where could I buy rag company products and some of these brands.
Yes, yeah.
I live in the UK. How can I get Gtechniq products? How can I get IK sprayers? How can I get Color Lock products? Right? How can I enjoy a good Bang energy drink while in the UK? Where can I go?
Where can you go?
We've got John Hull on the line from Clean and Shiny UK. So cleanandshiny.co.uk. You can check out all the great products on their website. And John, welcome.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Very good.
You're doing great, brother.
Happy to see your face, man, and your hand.
So I got a phone call just at the wrong moment. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. So, Anthony, you want to?
Yeah. So John, give us kind of a rundown, right? So, Clean and Shiny UK, we've been partnered with you for several years now, and you've been carrying Rag Company products. We also carry a lot of the existing lines that we already have, and we've also, gotten influence from you as well over there because you have access to a lot of things that we don't have access to. And I think a big thing that people kind of recognize is Rag Company's ability to import products from other areas to try to kind of spread the word here within the U.S. And when we went to go visit your shop, right? Levi's been there twice. I've been there one time. Let's just say I was cracking open every single bottle that he had, sniffing every single product.
You were peeling the tops off stuff, and we were like, Anthony,
breaking the seal. Anthony, you can't do that.
We're gonna have to buy that.
I know. I'm guilty. And to be honest, though, Clean and Shiny has quite possibly one of my favorite air fresheners of all time. It's this pink little circle air freshener. John probably has them. That's the one. That is my favorite smelling air freshener, and I'm still waiting on my case of them. I just haven't seen them quite yet.
It's coming.
Be there eventually. It's coming. Okay, he said that 1,000 times, but I believe you this time, John. So give us a rundown of Clean and Shiny. How long have you guys been in business for? And then I guess they'll start talking about the Rag Company products and kind of maybe a few of your favorites or some of your best sellers that you have over there on that side of the pond.
Sure. So we've been going since 2003. We're one of the first companies in the UK set up as an e-commerce company. We stock currently 46 different vendors. Obviously, the rag company, Gtechniq, Rupes, those to name a few. Geon, Scholl, lots of them around behind me here.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's just one side of the shelf. There's another side and another side to that. It keeps going.
We'll move. So we've got, as I say, we've got quite a big range. A few more shelves there. But yeah, we've been going almost 20 years now. We try and stock the best products we can, but we don't just look at the big vendors. We look at some of the smaller vendors too, because there's some really good smaller vendors out there. So we've got some stuff from the UK, like the Juicy Details range here.
Nice.
They're a smaller brand. But then we've got, obviously, as I say, we've got Rupes, Geon, Gtechniq, and all those sort of things as well. And obviously Rag Company being a big part of that.
I want to check the seals on all of those, 'cause I think I opened all of those and smelled those. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry.
It's okay. we got some nice smelling stuff as well. Even more nice smelling stuff now.
Do you?
So,
okay. Sounds like our next trip. I'm gonna have to come crack it up in a few bottles.
That'll be great.
Absolutely.
So, one of the great things is you can buy everything from cleanandshiny.co.uk.
Yep.
And John has a beautiful website, and he's also the Rag Company UK primary distributor.
Correct.
So,
correct.
If you're interested in any Rag Company products or any of the products you see here at the Rag Company, reach out to John Hull. He is the man, the myth, the legend, and detailingworld.com, the forum, is
correct.
also one of John's babies. And let's just put it this way, Waxstock, the largest car care show in
I don't
the
think
UK,
possible, right, without
is
this
all
man right here.
because of this guy right here. So
Thank you.
Amazing.
and he's president of the IDA for the UK. I don't know if you knew that.
He
He does it all.
Does he have a plaque of all these different things? That
Probably.
I think so,
Probably.
right? So, John, what are a couple of your favorite Rag Company products, a couple of your favorite microfiber products, and what are some of your best sellers over there on that side? Because that might be different than what we have over here.
The Edgeless 365 over here is one of our big sellers. The gauntlets, they go really well.
Yeah.
The clay towels are starting to really pick up over here.
Oh,
We're starting to sell a lot of those.
Yeah, as they should.
But yeah, my favorite, I like the Eagles, obviously. Eagle edgeless towels. I really like using those. I like using those with quick detailers, that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, they're all great towels. I'm really proud to be part of this Rag Company family.
Well, we are thankful. We are thankful to have you, brother. Now, enjoy your weekend. Thank you for coming on here, hanging out with us.
It's
Again,
a pleasure.
ladies and gentlemen, you can check out cleanandshiny.co.uk on Facebook, Instagram, and the webpage. You can check out detailingworld.com. And thank you, John.
Waxstock next year, right?
Yeah, Waxstock 2021. Fingers crossed.
Waxstock 2021.
Fingers
We'll be
crossed.
there.
We'll see you then. And listen, have a great show today. It's been great watching this all week.
Thank you,
Awesome.
John.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you later.
See you later.
All right. So next,
Yes.
we're not done.
We're not done. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not done until our voices are gone. Right?
Basically,
we're
we're
going
going to destroy them. So, if you are in mainland Europe,
Yeah.
right, and you're looking for Rag Company products, I've noticed a lot of people in the chat. Where can I get that? Where can I get that? Where can I get that? Where can I? I'm in this country. I'm in this country. I'm in this country. Well, your one-stop shop, ragcompany.shop. So www.theragcompany.shop handles all of your European needs. And we've got a little video from Patrick and Edwin from Rag Company Europe.
Yep.
And let's take a look at it.
Hello viewers of TRCMA. My name is Patrick, CEO of Rag Company Europe, and I want to thank you all for watching TRCMA, but especially give our compliments to the guys at TRC headquarters in Boise for doing such an amazing job on this virtual SEMA that they've created, and for us, fun to watch here in Europe and all over the world. We wish we could be here live, but we are very busy moving, so we can expand here within Europe, and we are preparing everything here behind us in our new building, our new facility, preparing for growth, preparing to serve you here in Europe and probably elsewhere in the world. We know that TRCMA is an event created due to COVID, but it's the best way to come across to you guys watching TRCMA, having fun with all the manufacturers, telling their stories about their products and their philosophy behind it. So it's the best thing we could do and offer to you. We hope that 2021 will give us like the opportunity again to meet you guys in person on physical trade shows where we can shake hands. Hopefully we can do that again, and we are looking forward to that. So let's go for 2021 and hope to see you soon wherever in the world.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I miss
That's
Patrick
awesome.
and Edwin. You
Dude,
know,
me
like
too, man.
It's hard with COVID. You know,
Yeah.
we've had to cancel a lot of travel this year, which
We
is
did.
one of the reasons we're doing this for you guys. You know, it's impacted all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
And normally we would be at all of our trade shows when we go to Waxstock.
We see
you
these
know,
guys every other
it's John,
month,
it's
right?
Patrick. When we go to,
always.
we're going to be going next year.
Yeah.
Our game plan is for Auto Mechanica
Yep, yep.
to be there along with our teams
Yeah.
around the world. And then, you know, when we do SEMA,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
when we do SEMA, not only is it us, but our international partners. John comes, Patrick
Mm-hmm.
comes, you know, even Mark Perch, who is Australia.
Yep.
So those of you in
He makes his
Australia,
way
New
all the way
Zealand,
out. Crazy.
he comes all the way out for that. So AU Car Care Co. is Mark's company, and that is Rag Company Australia. So if
It
you
is.
need any of the products, if you want PNS products, if you want IK sprayers, if you want any of our
Towels,
you know,
I mean,
towels,
over
that's
towels,
where
yeah.
you get it from. So so we're really trying to work to cover the entire continent, basically,
Yeah, yeah.
to get as much coverage as possible.
We're working on. One thing I am jealous of, though,
Yeah.
Levi, you'll probably see that in Patrick's video, they had some sweet boxes.
Whiskey
right?
boxes.
Some whiskey boxes. And they also had that holographic sticker. I want to know what that looks like in person. I'm going to have to tell them to send me a couple of those things.
I think we're gonna have to do that, and I think we also need to figure out how to make some shipping boxes with that really cool whiskey logo
It'll just
on
be
it.
me with a Sharpie.
Well,
and I
you know, it'll be
Anthony,
all
you're
right.
taking too long. Sorry, guys. This is very intricate, right? This is taking me a very long time to draw this. But yeah, really cool boxes. I really like the way they display our products and
Yeah.
everything that they do. Everything from their packaging that they do, because as many people know, most of the packaging that we do is in-house here at the Rag Company. And so when we're packaging things and boxing things, we do our best to try to make sure everything is a good show, right? When you're opening things up, it feels like Christmas. And those boxes, I think, kind of take it to the next level, especially for the European
Yeah,
audience.
it's pretty rad. So all those guys, so you heard from John and you got to see Patrick. Those are our guys. Those are our representatives, our main two representatives around the
Yeah.
world. And then Mark Perch sadly couldn't join us. But if you're in Australia, New Zealand, get a hold of AU Car Care Co. For all the Rag Company needs. Now,
Yep.
Dane, what's going on? Are you still in that closet or
Still
where
there.
are you?
Turns out there's a change of clothes in there. I was able to pop on a little Gtechniq hat. It's been going good in here so far.
All right,
It's,
good.
It's actually bigger on the inside, as they say.
Well,
so.
you have a Pepsi fridge in there also to keep you
I
company, keep
do.
you refreshed.
And I picked
Still
up a bang
going.
while I was at it, so I'm
Very
liking
nice.
this peach mango. But I was going to say, I really want to get a hold of one of those holographic stickers. Those look so cool.
They look really
So
cool.
Europe got an exclusive, so I mean,
Pretty sweet.
lucky them. Anyway, guys, I'm here to talk about what's going on today, right? So
Yeah, we
let's
got a
take a
lot.
look at what's coming up. All right, so first off, we're starting with Gtechniq, going into Gtechniq with Konig, and then also going into Gtechniq with Justin Pate of the Rap Institute. And of course, our lunch break, and we'll get to some fun after that. But first, let's take a look at what Gtechniq has to offer.
Holy cow, that was intense. I thought I was in like a James Bond film. That was amazing.
That is the Gtechniq Work Center in England.
Very nice, very nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got the boys with me. I got Mr. Eric Joseph, Evan Morris, Cody Hintzman. We are, these guys are here to talk to you guys, tell you about the Gtechniq product line. We're going to be doing some demonstrations later. I think we got some Easy Coat.
We got some Easy Coat for sure.
We got some C5. We got a little, maybe a little Halo demo.
Halo.
It's gonna be a good time. And we've got the Marine line, which maybe a lot of people haven't gotten to see yet. Maybe this is their first time, but the whole Gtechniq Marine line is revolutionary in and of itself.
Yes, and especially going back to the heritage of the brand now, coming up on our 20th year. Not a lot of people know, but we talked about it at one of the lives.
Yep.
It's really kind of where the brand started. So it's really interesting to come back to the roots and kind of move forward.
Oh, thank you, Gabe.
All
Delightful.
Right. That was smooth, Gabe. Appreciate it.
Brought us some product.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it.
Sorry. So that's why we have Cody here. A lot of people haven't seen Cody on the camera, but he's here sharing the Boise environment from Michigan.
Yeah, we got to come have some Boise Fry Company.
It was
As
amazing.
soon as we landed,
Loved it.
Soon. Shout out Boise Fry Company.
Fries.
There we go. All right, so tell me, so as you were saying, company started 20 years ago.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
when you said that the Marine line, you're kind of going back to your roots.
Going back to the roots.
Talk about that.
So the original founder spent some time in the marine world, and he, again, as the story goes, he was watching the deckhands work on and protect these vessels.
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 That's a good word.
Vessels,
Very, very
right?
good word. Very appropriate.
For weeks at a time. So they
Yeah.
would go out and do their thing, and then the vessel would come back, and it would take a very long time for them to shine it up and protect it up.
Mm-hmm.
So he figured, with his background, was that I think we can do this better, and he did. So for a couple of years, he had a team running around Europe and Asia, actually, doing more of the service. So he made the product, they were, applying, which is cool. In 2001 is when they really got going. This is the whole 20-year thing, when they focused on larger markets and got away from the service and went into really pushing the product from
Okay.
a little more of a focus standpoint.
Sweet. So what are some of the newest products that you're going to show us today and talk about? Obviously, we got to go through that Marine line because we really
Absolutely.
haven't yet on our end from the rag company perspective. So, but I will say, I've been using Easy Coat, and if you guys haven't used it yet, you need to.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad.
It's pretty easy.
It's very easy. But yeah, go for it. Show us some stuff. Tell me all about this thing.
Yeah, so Easy Coat was launched at SEMA of last year. It got to the market in the U.S. about the end of the second quarter, so right about summertime.
Yep.
It's been out there doing amazing things. It's a 3-month protective product, and it's so easy. It goes on all of the surfaces.
Yeah.
So as you know, as me and you have gone back a little ways, and we are unfortunately getting older.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Right? Maybe smarter.
Hopefully.
Right? We want to get a better result with less time.
Right.
So I don't know if there's anything out there that could be, honestly, this easy. So the guys are going to show it off later. A lot of the viewers are not going to believe it. That's fine, right? The proof is in it.
Yeah.
The cost per application is very fair. The 500 ml bottle, which you'll see over there, it comes in the box. That's going to do 2 to 3 cars, right? And you're going to get that 3-month or more. So my personal car that I just traded in, which you would have loved,
Yeah.
that big body Cadillac. I kept it for 4 months and 1 day. Put Easy Coat on it the first day with just a regular wash. I didn't want to go crazy. I wanted to, forget what I knew.
Yeah.
And played more of the, I'm just starting out game, and it was kind of fun. And I did 4 months and 1 day on it, and it took a very harsh acid wash to kill half the hood.
Oh,
which is
impressive.
Very
Yeah.
impressive. And that car lived outside. That's why I had to get rid of it. I was not treating her the way she deserved. She wasn't glory enough for the garage spot. But, it sat at the Atlanta airport for 3.5 weeks in its 4-month life, did 4,000 miles, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Yeah.
So, but I have the company name on my chest, so it's hard.
But it's true.
Yeah.
With COVID and not having to travel, the wife and I got ourselves a little tent trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing I had to do was get it all cleaned up, detail it up,
Yeah.
and then that's what I use.
Yep.
Literally just sprayed it with Easy Coat.
Easy.
And it's amazing because after that, all I've had to do is rinse it off. So when we get home from camping and I go to put it away or park it on my little pad, I just pull out my pressure washer, I rinse it off, and then I dry it.
Yeah.
Because it's stayed that, it hasn't gotten, it's mostly dust, and it's all textured
Up in those
fiberglass.
Boise hills.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But I'm just amazed at how simple it is that I ended up getting a box for my dad and having him do it on his 40-foot motorhome. And he did it and was like, that was perfect. That's everything I needed. You know, 'cause that's all it is.
No ladder.
Nope.
Only a towel to dry.
Yeah.
And from the professional side, it's a great maintenance item. So back when we had our shops.
Yeah.
I mean, think about 2.5 minutes to seal or
Yeah.
give that entry level
Well,
service.
these guys are still detailing too. So,
Okay.
I mean, you get it from the horse's mouth, right?
Yeah.
So, Evan, are you using Easy Coat in your shop at the moment?
We don't have a lot of customer offerings for it, but I will say on like our cars, we may or may not have applied it.
Getting a little lazy because you don't have, the cobbler's kids have no shoes.
Exactly. We don't
Yeah.
always,
Right?
we don't always
Exactly
have
it,
time
right
to
there.
go full correction because we're not going to compromise if we're going to do it. But
Yeah.
that's a good, solid protection for a car for 3-4 months. One of the guys that started with me recently actually we did his truck and he hadn't washed it in like 2 years or so, and so we got it cleaned up, did a quick clay and Easy Coat. It looked fantastic.
Nice.
So and it's done its job. It's been about 2 months now, so it's still working. One day we'll bring it in the shop, cut it and stuff, but
Yeah.
maybe we won't. I don't know. So,
Nice. Cody.
Personally, we've used it on my father's RV. He's got a 43-foot pusher, and we just decon washed that, and it's holding up, held up through the whole summer, so it's doing what it's supposed to do, and it was simple. Wash it up, wash it off, and dry it down, and you're good to go.
So when I first met Robert a couple of years ago, he asked me, he's like, what are some of the products that you want?
Right.
And I was like, a rinse-on, rinse-off product. And he kind of looked at me weird, right? Because we're the coating company. But whenever Robert goes to do something, he has to do it, overdo it, and do it best, right? So I don't know how the internet works right now, right? But I think we have someone who can talk about the development.
Oh, you guys have, so who do we have on the line here?
So I believe we have Ben Matthews. Looks like he's with us now.
Ben, how's
how
it
are
going?
you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well. You just want to give the viewers
Thank you for having us on.
a quick insight into how you guys developed Easy Coat.
Absolutely. I mean, you described it best. Easy Coat, it doesn't get any easier. Now, the chemistry behind it is far from. To make a product that is applied through a hose onto, so you wash the car, shampoo, you rinse away all of the suds using the Easy Coat. I mean, Eric will run you through it a little bit later. You rinse off all the suds from the car, so you wet the surface, and then you open a valve at the front of the assembly and spray the coating onto the vehicle. That cross-links instantly, and that is one of the unique and probably best performing parts of the product as such, because you don't have to wait 5, 10, 15 minutes for that product to actually bond to the surface. It is instantaneous. That stream of water makes that coating stick to the paintwork. As you rinse it off, it's bonded, as Eric said, 3 to 4 months durability, depending on how you're using the vehicle, how you're looking after it. And it's an incredible feat what we've actually achieved. Again, it was far from easy, definitely. We started off with several core ingredients that we knew would provide us with the durability, but actually getting that into a water-soluble solution was obviously very difficult. Initially, Easy Coat was only supposed to be for the marine application. Obviously, the guys will talk you through the remainder of the marine line. But as soon as Rob and I kind of figured out what we'd stumbled onto, we were looking around the building. I mean, half of our building is actually coated in Easy Coat prototype. It's such a product that you can spray on everything, and due to the catalysts that are involved, it is instantly curing. So we went through about 50 or so different prototypes of different ingredient levels to get where we are now. And it was definitely an interesting journey, but I mean, we struggled enormously in the beginning, but I think what we found ultimately is honestly incredible. It's completely different to anything else on the market. Again, we had to bear in mind that not everybody has the use of a pressure washer. So application through a snow foam and all that kind of stuff isn't always possible for everybody. So we thought, how can we best provide? Again, it's more of a solution for people that don't have necessarily the time or the energy or the enthusiasm in going around, let's say, with our other products like C2, that kind of thing, where you'd have to dry the car off, you'd go around, spray C2 into a cloth, wipe it on, flip it, buff it up, all that kind of thing. It offers the same level of durability towards C2, but in a kind of a different manner of application. So it's got all the durability and performance with the easiest application method possible, really.
Cool. Wow, that is so I would be doing the same thing if I was testing it. My house would be covered in it. This building would be covered in it. I mean, that's probably the funnest thing about, I think, testing new products is finding stuff that you can seal.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that you guys developed. So when I used it, I'm always very skeptical about a spray-on rinse-off, and Andrew's been talking to me about it for a very, very long time. And Eric, I'm sorry, Eric. I'm so bad. I didn't.
It's all right.
I meant Eric. So the point is, Eric's been talking to me because you and I actually go very far back.
Yes.
To back when we were just a couple of detailers.
Just shining up cars.
Sending Instagram messages back and forth.
Instagram was not there yet.
Oh, we were doing Facebook.
Maybe not even.
Maybe even MySpace. But the point was,
Friendster.
we were Friendster, but we were, you know, we would always send stuff back and forth, talk about this. So when we both transitioned into these jobs and Easy Coat, you kept telling me it's going to be good, it's going to be good, it's going to be good. And when I used it, I remember I was on the phone with Scott from Konig Wheels, and we were catching up, just chatting, how's things going, how's your above ground pool, you know, how's your above ground pool? I said, it's delightful.
Long Island's hard for the in-grounds, though.
Right, so I was spraying Easy Coat, and I said, oh, I've got this new thing from Eric, it's pretty insane, I'm playing with it. And while I was on the phone with him, and I'm sure he'll confirm in a few little bit when he gets on for his portion, but I was like, oh, this is crazy. And he goes, what? What's so crazy about it? It's like, I literally just sprayed it on, sprayed it off, super slick, and you could feel the protection on the surface, which I was blown away. And my car's coated that I did this, or not coated, it's coated and it's vinyl wrapped.
A very hard surface to protect.
The fact that it's a vinyl wrap vehicle and it's a very large vehicle, it's a Suburban, and so plenty of product to cover it and still have some left over. So then I was like, sprayed my other car just because it was sitting there. You know,
we were pushing Rob and Ben, right? Like you said, 15x amount of samples, right? And they wouldn't let it go until it was the stamp of their approval, right? So we're like, no, let's just get it. You know, it can't leave residue, it can't leave haze, right? It really has to be that easy, and they nailed it.
Well, and most on the market spot, you know, then they put it, you spray them and you got spotting all over it. You've got maybe the product doesn't fully cure in certain areas, so you're running around with high spots or you know, spots that aren't protected.
Not so easy.
You guys have used this type of product or products similar back in the day. We've had lots of products like this. You put too much, it gets blotchy, and you've got to, now you got to get a polisher out to try and remove it.
Or you have to dilute it, and you're adding maybe a high mineral content, you know, water. Right. Or you dilute it kind of as detailers do. Like you said, we like to play, right? So if 6-to-1 works, well then 3-to-1's got to work better.
That's not always right.
Easy Coat does it all for you with the valve assembly that comes in the kit.
Yeah.
So you can buy it 2 separate ways from the rag company or Amazon. In the box is the kit. So in the kit, you're going to get your 500 milliliter bottle with your quick connect hose adapter and your dilution bottle dispenser.
Yeah.
So it's all in there. Once you're done with that actual dispenser is reusable. So now we're going to go back and you'll be able to buy the refill. So the refill is just a 500 ml bottle with a cap on it.
Just one of these size bottles.
That's it.
And that's probably the coolest thing. So you could literally buy it once, have all the equipment that you need, buy a refill. You basically got your year covered.
And you're good to go.
Protection for your vehicle.
And all you need is a garden hose.
Yeah, which I think that's the most amazing thing of the whole system is just a quick garden hose assembly and you're done.
So
you guys want to transition over to little marine here? Since we got Cody standing here, Cody, you've been doing a lot of this. And
I do.
Evan, you have too. right?
little
You've been
bit.
doing a little
Not
bit
as
of the
much
marine.
as Cody. Cody's
Okay.
been killing the game up there, so yeah.
Big boats.
Yeah.
In
Vessels,
Michigan, which
vessels.
doesn't have an ocean, by the way.
Right.
So-
Doesn't have an ocean.
It's a big lake. So yes, I mean it's one of the easiest things you can do, really. I mean the base is simple, the top is simple. The marine line of the easy coat version is very easy as well. I mean, you literally, we've gone as far as to use it on RVs. I mean, fiberglass base, just like some of the boats we do. Most of the boats we do are base coat, clear coat, being the bigger boats that they are. But the longevity is there. The maintenance is just simple. I mean, it's just like our car line here. So,
So run me through some of the different, because this was a totally new, I mean, this is a new product line. This
Yeah.
is a standalone product line
Yes.
from Gtechniq.
Yep,
So maybe if they've never used the Gtechniq car line, and maybe they are marine, they do a lot of marine, they do a lot of RV, a lot of this stuff is specifically designed for that purpose.
And marine has, as you know, historically, not that it's been behind automotive, right?
Right.
But you know, we built the last decade now. We built an industry with all of our partners here, really focused on auto. So we took auto to that
Right.
next level.
Yeah.
So marine, a lot of the times, it was just kind of an auto product or a body shop product that
Right.
that a marina would just be able to buy to buff the boat or wax the boat.
Well, yeah, you and I go back even 15 years. We're just rotoring
Yeah.
boats with
wax.
with wax and
Yeah, 'cause
compounds.
that
That's
made
it.
a lot of sense.
We put a quick little
Yeah.
paste carnauba on there. Don't get the yellow kind because for some reason it turns the gel coat yellow.
Yeah.
That was what we do. We'd try and find white wax or something, and no one knew why. You know.
Sell it up.
I mean, why not? Yeah. Gel coat's
So
gel
how
coat, right?
prior coating,
No, it's not.
It's a whole different animal for sure.
prior to getting into the coatings and the ceramic spray sealants, you would have to see, we'll just talk wakeboard boats, right? So you're 24 foot.
Yeah.
You would have to see that vessel how many times a season to keep it looking its best?
Typically, I mean, of course, you want your customer to take it out of the water and at least wipe it down with a quick detail or something like that when you're done. But if we're just doing basic maintenance, I would say
Prior to the ceramics.
prior to the ceramics,
Like back when? Waxing.
I would say a minimum 3 times a season.
Yeah,
I mean, which is, it could get to be expensive and just time consuming. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to spend time working on your boat. You'd rather spend your time out on the lake or the ocean, wherever you're at, you know, so enjoying your boat.
So just go over base and top.
Okay.
Yeah.
So base, it's a very simple application. You want to. Oh my goodness.
You're only live.
I
buddy.
know. There's just
know
so
we're
many people
live.
staring at me, so I'm choking up right now.
I think that 2 million.
we need to go back to
people are
bed?
Is there 2
watching.
million?
Yeah, 2 million people are watching.
I think that's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyways, base is just it's a very simple. You're gonna prep the surface, decon all your normal things like you would for a vehicle, say. You want to correct everything. Base goes on. It's gonna do its little, you know, haze up or flash, as you would say. You knock it down, level it out. Depending on the environment, you're gonna wait. Your typical time, I mean, what, around 4 hours if you want to push it, I'd say.
To put base on top. To put
Put
top,
on the base, yes. I mean, that would be pushing it though. To be safe, I'd probably stretch it out at least 8, and then throw your top on.
But you've applied base in the summer. You've applied it
Yes.
out. You applied it outside.
You can do it outside, yeah. It's very simple. It's not
You
gonna.
can ceramic coat things outside.
Right? Apparently now you can.
Okay.
Back in the old days, you couldn't.
No,
Right?
no.
You had to have a clean room. You had to have a dust-free environment. So you're literally able to apply this right there on the dock.
Very much so,
maybe on
yes,
it,
yes.
Wherever the
It's
boat's
not-
moored.
I mean, it is affected by humidity and temperature and all that stuff, but you do get longer, I guess, play time with it, where it's not gonna flash instantly.
Yeah.
You know, due to
We'll
the
say like you're
environment and
down
all
in
that stuff.
Florida or something, and it's
Yeah.
very humid that day, and you're working on the boat, you know, and you've got a higher humidity.
You still-
Most
you still get-
humidity-cured products will flash almost
Oh,
instantly.
almost instantly, yes, yes.
And
will
to
give you
have
the-
this to be able to give you that work
Yeah,
time.
this will give you plenty of work time. You know,
That's
you
right.
still want to do your 3x3 area, but
How many cars is an 80-foot boat?
I have no idea. That's a lot of
I think
cars.
it's probably 80 cars.
Yeah, it feels like about that,
that
right?
sounds about right.
Yeah.
So base goes down,
Yes.
and that does literally create a base, for lack of a better
It's
term,
your solid
right?
barrier, yes. yes.
Because gel coat and fiberglass is very porous.
Very, very much so, yes. Yes,
So you
you're
got to
gonna-
fill those. You basically got to fill those holes
Yep. And
to
you-
allow that to put any ceramic. Otherwise, if you're just putting it on, it's gonna seep in. It's not, you're not going to get even coverage.
Correct. And then that comes into play too, where the correction and everything of the gel coat. You know, you want to open those pores back up so it will accept the base coat.
Yeah.
And once that's down, like I said, 8 hours is definitely your safe time. But then you can apply your top, and once the top is on, it's just everything's gravy. It's nice and slick. You know, you're protected.
And what's the durability out of that?
About 3 years.
Wow.
You'll see. Yep. So,
In the water, that's crazy.
oh, yeah, especially
That's some strong stuff.
You know, maintenance is all key, but 3 years it'll take some abuse. You know, so.
That's cool. And then the product lines with it. So we've got like glass polish, plexiglass polish, the metal, and then there's also compounds polishes, some other stuff that's added into that.
Yep.
Again, all specifically designed to work on, because we all know, you know, boat vinyl and leather
Yes.
is a totally different animal than car leather and vinyl, right?
Yes.
So you've got to have cleaners designed for that, as well as protection, because most people don't realize how much sunscreen people wear when they go on a boat,
And how bad it is for vinyl.
how bad it
Or
is
the
for
spray
vinyl
tans,
leather.
the spray
Yeah,
tans.
or the
We see a lot
spray
of that,
tans.
yeah, the ladies in the spray tans,
of
just
bronzing
all
of the
over.
interior.
Yes.
So I think Ben has a visitor.
Oh,
I think Ben has a visitor who may be able to talk more about the science behind the marine coating.
There you go.
can we look at that? He's got Rob on there.
Oh, look at Rob.
He's got the man, the myth, the legend, Rob Earl there from
Yes.
Gtechniq, ladies and
Staying
gentlemen.
late on a Friday.
Wow.
You are dedicated, sir. Thank
Staying
you.
out on Friday.
Hey Rob, how's
Hey,
it
guys.
going, man?
How you
Great to
doing,
be
Rob?
on.
Good to
Work
see
on
you.
this. This is fantastic. Been dipping in and out. Good work.
Excellent. Thank you.
The level of enthusiasm all the way through is astonishing. Yeah, better than I
Well,
would
yeah,
talk
yeah,
to
we're drinking
you.
energy drinks and all that as well, so it's
Okay.
helping.
How's
Think
Eric
we could
doing?
pitch him a media
Is
studio?
he repping well?
I couldn't hear that. What?
How's Eric doing? Is he repping well?
He's doing well. He is.
He's definitely behaving.
Yeah, he is doing well. So, Rob, the ceramic line has been a big, or the marine line has been a big thing for the company. I mean, this was years in the making for you.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing marine. Actually, that was one of the first things we started with back in probably about 2003. But we were primarily we got two teams kind of working on, well, three teams. One in south of France, doing one in Mallorca in Spain, and one in Dubai, doing very, very large yachts. So like, you know, over 100 foot, 120 foot kind of things. And you know, the feedback we got on that was fantastic. They're able to extend paint life by quite a long time. And so really the idea now is to start bringing this into a more mainstream market. And I was kind of listening to what you guys were saying. So yeah, the staining is one of the big issues with gel coats. So yeah, we've got a lot of experience with that, and you know, the base is ideal for kind of preventing. Particularly, we've had issues with boats in places like in Vancouver, in Desolation Sound, where they've got a lot of tree sap in the water, and that really stains gel coat really, really bad. So we've got a lot of kind of experience with getting the formula right to stop the gel coat from staining. And we're in the last throes now. We're putting together the guarantee, and we're spending a lot of time getting that right. And I'm pretty happy we've got that kind of where we need it to be.
Nice. Yeah, this is really cool stuff. You know, to have a full lineup that is specifically designed. This is quite possibly, I think, the most comprehensive marine lineup out of any of the chemical companies around, especially some of the larger ones. You guys literally have, as we like to refer, soup to nuts of everything that you possibly need.
And we've got a few more things in works at the moment. So yeah, this is the opening of the product line. But I think, you know, we're putting together a whole marine certified detailer program, and then we've got a lot of interest from boat retailers to have an upsell of Gtechniq protection to their customers, and that's the area we're going to be putting a lot of focusing a lot on that. So it's going to be exciting. We've got a new member of staff based in Florida who's going to be leading the charge. Gabe, Bentley, so yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Nice. Yeah, well, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is the boat market is such a massive market that has been very underserved, and even boat dealerships, you know, they function just like an automotive dealership, right? But the people are dropping, on average, way more money, larger financing terms, all kinds of stuff, and so to send a boat out with no protection, put it out on the water where it's literally in full sunlight, it's in water, you've got reflection, you've got more UV than anything than what a normal car would usually see. It's surprising that there aren't more companies in, you know, trying to get into those dealerships to try and help protect those boats prior to sale, right? Because that's, and I always, as myself as a detailer, that was the one thing that I only ever got was we had a couple boat dealerships here, and we do a lot of water ski, you know, boats like and jet boats here in Idaho. But what we would get was, I wouldn't get a new boat.
Oh no, you'll get that.
No.
I'd get the boat that came in for its first major service, and then they would sell a detail on it. And you go, God dang, if I could just have done something prior, you know.
Or hey, can you shine this up? I gotta sell it.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, you haven't washed it for 4 years, so let's take care of it for you now.
It's just chalked complete over. And it's
so
crazy.
kudos to you guys for reaching that and seeing that market.
I'm pretty happy. We've worked with a lot of our boat detailers already, and we've got a pricing tool. There's going to be a new Gtechniq US website launching any day now, and we've got a full pricing tool in that, so a customer can go in and say, hey, I've got a 70-foot fly bridge, and it'll come out with the it'll tell you, and it'll ask, how much polishing is required. It'll come out, and it's a very, very simple thing to kind of understand, because obviously boats, it's not like cars where they're more or less the same size. Obviously boats are every size, shape and form. So that's all been done as well, which is pretty cool. And then, we've got other things for like the interiors, the fabric protection that we've got for interiors. We haven't really started kind of showing people what that does yet. But from what it does to prevent mold and mildew, there's nothing out there that works as well as this does. So we'll be releasing more information about that. So that's a completely different product from our automotive fabric protector. So it's all exciting stuff. Good.
And we wanted to easy coat when Rob and the marketing team in England wanted to decide on what was going to go on with the look, the feel, right? The usability. It is all very, very easily explained. So if you picked up this bottle here, I mean, what do you think it does?
Glass and plexiglass coat.
Right, it repels water for clear vision.
Right.
So what was nice with it is we didn't have to play into the auto world where, for whatever reason, we like to make things complicated.
We make up names for stuff.
And we just went right to, ceramic base. It's the base ceramic, right? Ceramic fast coat, which we'll have a video for the commercial for. It is a fast coat of ceramic, right? So it is the ceramic spray sealant, right? And then just, having these guys go in and develop this stuff and really take their time with it and, change something that was existing. So Rob sent over an email where he was showing our Smart Fabric antibacterial, our Smart Fabric AB, and it was doing good in the marine environment. It was doing better than the competitors you can buy, but it wasn't good enough for him. So then a week later, he sent another email. He's like, well, look at this. And I was like, whoa, that's...
It really is, for marine, it is on another level because, I remember many, many days, 10, 15 years ago, scrubbing and just trying to get stuff because you got mold, you've got mildew on a constant occasion, that you don't get in cars. You've got, people who store stuff. You've got cubbies that are stored wet with gear, ropes,
jackets,
all
that
kinds of
garbage,
stuff. And and it doesn't matter if it's salt water or fresh water. You're going to hit everything. And so these guys, kudos to you guys for thinking about that whole process. It's a huge. People don't realize how big it actually is.
Yeah.
Well, and you got
it's going to be
traditional cleaning.
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, no, it's been fun. I mean, we kind of soft launched this back. There's the big boat show in the UK, Southampton Boat Show, and we took a stand there. It was really more to get feedback. So that was back in 2019. And what was interesting was actually the amount of people boat owners who were using car care products anyway because they felt the car care products were more functional. So, I think there's going to be some interesting, it's going to be an interesting activity anyway to get into the marine market. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on and doing that. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Rob?
All kinds of new things. There's stuff that we can't talk about.
Put you on the spot. But
How about the recent new that's coming besides the website? What have you and Ben been up to over there?
What have we been up to? Well, what have we been up to today? I mean, we've got a lot of work going on. We've got a lot of samples coming out, new polishes. We've got.
Yeah, we're always working on things. Again, as Eric's explained, we're never satisfied to stay still. We always want to keep moving. So on a daily basis, we are analysing our existing product line as well as competitors. That's one of my main responsibilities here. And yeah, always moving forward. We have a couple of exciting new products based on existing products. So we're not quite ready to tell you what they are yet. But again, we're always keen to move forward. We've made some quite fundamental steps forward in some of our most popular products. Again, we launched as part of our virtual SEMA last week. We announced a replacement G-Wash, so G-Wash V2 with enhanced kind of cleansing and foaming power. So just an already very user-friendly product already. We've gone to town, pulled it apart, see where we can make elements better. It's only a marginal change, but again, as I explained, we don't, just because it's good enough doesn't mean that it can't be made better.
And then I2V2, that's another product that we announced then. So that's got a new additive in it that will kill enveloped viruses, of which COVID is one. So that's something that's out for testing at the moment, and all seems to be going well with that. So that's due for release. When's that coming out? Beginning of next year, I think.
Correct. Yes.
Nice.
And then there's a load of stuff that anyway, we planned around here. You'd see a lot of stuff, but yeah. That's
all right.
That's the current load coming out now.
Well, I
keep an eye out,
appreciate.
definitely.
Yeah. What? Sorry, Ben. What'd you say?
I'll just say definitely keep an eye on us. Well, plenty to bring to the table for you.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the biggest things that I love about you guys. You're always innovative, and that's one of the things that I think is the most surprising that a lot of people don't realize. Every once in a while there's a company that'll just go a new formula. They put it out there, but with Gtechniq, that's one of the nomenclatures that you guys use on the products. We all talk about C2V3 as one of our favorite SO2 topper and protection agent, but it's C2 V3 stands for version 3. It means there was 2 other versions previously to that product, and you guys are always working to make those things better, and that's one of the neat things is, you don't hide that. You're always, moving towards that level of excellence and that top of the line. And I mean, it's smart surface science, right? That's what the tagline is at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So sure. I've always been really impressed with the brand. Rob, you and I go, I enjoy all our talks and all that stuff. I miss seeing your face, so this is awesome.
Yeah, likewise. I know. Well, hopefully this vaccine, we can start traveling again.
I know,
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Not this ludicrous. It's ludicrous. But anyway, there we go.
Well, I appreciate it. And well, and one of the good things, we're going to actually demonstrate Easy Code, and I was telling the boys I'm really impressed with this product, and it's become one of my favorites to utilize because of the symptoms.
We took a little longer than hoped on. Really, I think we announced that. Did we announce that SEMA 2019, and it wasn't really out till about
the not so easy code.
About 3 months ago. So the amount. It just seemed like really simple things to do, but just to get the surface so that there was no residue left behind, that you had good hydrophobic function, to get the price point right. It was actually one of the hardest products we've ever done. So I think feedback seems to be good for it. So good to see.
Well, cool. Awesome, guys. Well, I think we're gonna take a little break here, and then we're gonna bounce into some Easy Coat. And show you guys a little bit of demonstration. And later on, we're going to have a little C5 action. We're going to do some things with the product so you guys can actually see firsthand. And then Dane is also going to be over there taking your questions and comments, and he might be throwing a couple of them up.
Okay,
So we'll be able to do some of those.
Ben's
Dane,
excited for
Dane,
that.
do you have any questions at the moment that you want to get through real quick?
You know, I had a
Before
good
we go.
number of them, but luckily we've had a little help from Gtechniq North America in the comments, pitching in and helping answer a few different people. But I did have one here I'm going to throw up on the screen. Let's get that up here. We got a Marvin Black, and he says, I'm going to be newly accredited after my training on Tuesday. How can I get the black Gtechniq polos, and do you offer Marine Pro coatings?
Ooh, he's liking the fancy
But-
shirts. And
but-
Yeah, he likes those shirts.
What about the gilet vest here? Am I saying it right? Gilet?
I like it.
Gilet. It's a British word.
Oh.
It's a British word.
I enjoy it.
Well, so Evan, you're going to meet him on Tuesday.
Yeah, so I guess I'll see you on Tuesday, Marvin. And that's a common question actually, Eric, that we get. So during the accreditation for the automotive side, training how to do ultra, a lot of people will ask, how do I get to that level on the Marine? And I think we're developing a training program, or how does that work?
We are. So at the summit last year, Cody was actually one of the trainers. We kind of gave not a dry run because it was a monsoon. So
Yeah, it was definitely raining out there. So, yeah.
And it worked out very well. So not that we're going to mimic automotive, but we're going to do something similar where as long as the skills are validated, as long as we know and we understand that the technician is able to apply it, there'll be very similar training to what you do in the Marine world. And then they will be able to offer the 3-year guarantee on the surface.
Nice.
Gel coat,
Gel coat paint.
the hull,
Yeah, the hull.
rub rail. Yeah, boat stuff.
The vessel.
The vessel.
vessel.
On the vessel. For the black polos, they will be on the new website. So this is one of the newest ones that we've had done. And then we're working with England to get some of the fancier vests and jackets, which are kind of cool.
Very nice. All right, and so then next up,
Remember
we've
his
got
face, Evan.
friend of the show, Joe here. I think you all know him.
Joe Wetzel.
Vigor
Joe
Auto
Crown
Detailing
Rally.
saying, Evan, I love you. You're so beautiful. Best looking detailer. Heart out.
nice.
It's true.
So, yeah,
It's the hair.
very complimentary. Very complimentary.
Oh, there he is. Very nice.
Oh, man, with the hair flip and everything. And then next up, I've got Alfredo here. A couple people asked us. I swear it's like a thing that's just going around. Sorry, it's kind of a hardball. They throw it out there. I'm sure you can't talk on upcoming whatever, but I wonder if Gtechniq is researching or considering graphene. Ask Alfredo.
We're not going to mess with anyone doing that work in a dojo per his YouTube photo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Researching, yes, and been researching it for a while. With that said, considering unknown right now, the research has to continue.
Fair. No, I think that's fair. All right, we got Gumi here saying, try
at
it on your
that
shower
hat."
glass. It's amazing.
Nice.
I think he was talking about Easy Coat.
So Easy Coat, knowing Gummy, he didn't bring it. Well, maybe he brought his garden hose into his bathroom.
Probably did.
He's probably talking about the glass and
yeah.
Flexi Coat.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Probably
Yeah.
exactly what it is. So for those of you wondering, Gumi not only is the Icelandic Gtechniq representative, but he's also Rag Company. Crazy how that works out. So
Weird, these collaborations.
if you live in Iceland and you're looking for Rag Company products, get a hold of Gumi. And Gtechniq products too, for that matter. So.
Yes, please. Okay, so then I've got Drifters Gone Wild. Does Easy Coat work on vinyl? Which we actually kind of discussed with Levi there.
Yeah,
So
vinyl wrap? Yeah, it works.
it worked
fine.
on your burb. Yeah.
Works just fine.
That's
And,
absolutely
and
true.
stand by for session 3 where we'll be talking about the ceramic coating for vinyl.
Yes.
Yes.
And then I've got to follow up. Oh, this one's from Juan. Everybody
One
loves
in the
Juan.
morning.
He's here saying, we are testing it on the undercarriage this winter to see how it protects under this temperature's time. I think he said that during the Easy Coat segment, so that would have been what he was referring to. And then he also just said, hello, Gtechniq team, I wish I was there. We wish you were here too,
We wish
Juan.
you were here too. Mr. Gtechniq
Yes.
2020 himself.
Senor Gtechniq.
Senor Gtechniq himself.
Now, this one's a little more of a hardball because I know people like to pose challenging questions, but I know you guys are up for it.
We're only
we have Ken
live, it's
Jeeper
fine.
here. Yeah, I know. Ken Jeeper here. He likes to be skeptical and stuff. So explain to him where he says Hydro 2 and Hydro Blue are similar without the contraption, no? When he's talking about Easy Coat. So explain why Easy Coat may be different than what other people spray on, watch out kind of deals are.
So one of those products were really the benchmark of what we were looking to do here. And I think, Ken, if you try it, you will find out not only is it easier, but it is going to perform past your expectations.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say Hydro 2, you actually have to dilute, and you have to get that dilution correct. If you don't get it right, and you play bench chemist,
Bro science.
bro science, you're gonna, you're gonna have a bad time with the product. Hydro Blue, you've got a time frame. You got a very short window. If you exceed that window, you can stain some stuff. And so the fact that this eliminates both of those
Sure.
problems on each one of those. So again, that's why I was so impressed, because I've been very, like I said, I've been skeptical. Tried them all,
many have.
I've used them.
Many
It's like,
have.
okay, this works, but it did this. Or ran out of time on this, and now look what happened.
Yep.
But this product, you don't have any of those issues, which phenomenal. So
All right. Then we got friend of the show, Dan, Alkaline Topaz. My CSL exo coating is about 1 year old now and it has some contamination buildup. Any suggestions for decontaminating, or should I plan on using something like Perfect Finish to remove it and then recoat the car?
So
Evan.
what I run into this question a lot, and so with my shop, we do coatings all day, every day, and we don't necessarily do that in maintenance wash for that first 6 months or year, whenever they want to check in. But at the end of the year, when we're going through our trainings, I make sure that my favorite thing to suggest is, do a decon wash at the end of the year. So you've got your W6 iron and fallout remover. Go ahead and get that on the surface, and you'll see it'll start to bleed. And you'll a lot of times I'll even do a clay to get that rough feel, especially off the back of the bumper. In fact, we've got a real life scenario of a customer we coated with. I think we did C1 and XO on it, and it was about 2 years in, and they're driving down dirt roads and drive it every day. It never sees the inside of a garage, and the back of the bumper had actually gone a little flat. So what we did is I hit it with some W6, W5, washed it, and after I did the rinse, it literally started beating like we just put the coating on. So a lot of times you've just got to build up on your coating. So if it stops performing like you want it to, a lot of times it's just a film that's developed on it, and it just needs to be cleansed. So I'd say it's absolutely safe. You certainly, don't use dirty clay. But it would be safe to W6 and even do a light clay on it, and you'll be able to preserve your protection, and then top it off with some C2, and you'll love it again.
there you go.
Excellent. And then I've got Chris DiGiovanni here saying, I've heard speculation of C2V4 trickled from Eric on Facebook groups. Any truth to this? C2V3 is made from angel tears.
Well,
C2V4.
Robert and Ben are up in the clouds
They're archangels here.
collecting those tears now, Chris.
Chris would say that, wouldn't he?
Wait for the DM from this one now, buddy.
Uh-oh. Now we've got Juan again asking, tell me about the fabric coating. I heard it's like 5 times stronger. Is that true?
I think it's 10 to 12 times. is what
Yeah,
they've-
well, the testing behind
Wow.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
The microbials and all that stuff. It's,
I feel like Juan's juicing these a little
He's
bit.
trying.
Yeah,
He's not here
he's-
to be in the
Yeah.
I'm kind of standing in for him.
What's next now, Dane? A buck question?
No, actually, we had Buck
Marv,
chiming in
okay.
earlier. He just wanted to share the love. But we got Marvin again here saying, does Gtechniq offer affiliate links for accredited installers for their websites?
So once the new website is up, we are looking at integrating that. So first off, enjoy your training with Evan. We'll make sure his hair's a mess. But second off, wait for about the beginning of December.
Okay, and let's see. I
I'm
think
really
I've
waiting
got.
for a buck question.
Well, I had Buck chime in, but he was mostly just saying hi and, saying nice things. He didn't really have any questions. But I got Alkaline Topaz here. Dan, again, follow-up question. W4 citrus
question.
foam or W5 citrus APC? I ask because typically I associate APCs with interior use.
Yep, very common. For your current situation, W5 will be your yearly or so decontamination wash. And if you just Google real fast Gtechniq wash guide, it's going to bring you to a PDF through the internet where it's going to spell this all out for you. But if you're seeing that build up in a year, you may want to wash a little more or wash a little different. So W4 would come into that play, right? So if you're not using something like W4 throughout the year and you add W4 into your regimen once a month, you may now get the longer cycle before you have to go to W5 or W6. And for all the viewers, W for wash. So wash 4 came out before wash 5, became out before wash 6.
Right.
We always want to go back to that because it just helps things out.
Yeah, keeps everything
right.
online.
Now, I went all the way back to the beginning of the comments just to share this one. Very important. Just Buck with a hand-waving emoji, saying
Buck.
hi.
Hey, buddy.
Absolutely. So, guys, that wraps up the comments here for now, but is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't think we're. I think we're good.
It's
Unless you
time
got
to go
anything.
hands-on, then we'll do some wheels,
Okay.
some wrap, some other industry.
Yeah.
You know,
That sounds
people.
good. So I got NTM Hydro in the comments hanging out saying hi to everybody. So I definitely know today's going to be a busy day. Any rate, thank you guys, and we will now transition on to the next segment. So, quick little break, and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, lights are off. Dude, you killed it. I chose the show, man. I didn't know it was.
There we go, like this.
Hey guys, how you doing? So we're gonna go over basic easy coat install, essentially. It's not gonna be very long because it's so ding dang easy.
Very easy.
Basically, Cody's gonna go over how to hook it up and how to control. And then we've basically got a car back here that is technically unprotected. We did a quick panel wipe to kind of demonstrate the difference in beating before and after on easy coat. So Cody, take it away, sir.
So right here we have our Easy Coat 500 mil. We have our water release. We have our solution release, and it's simple, very easy, right, Evan?
Yep.
We're just going to take our quick connect. Ooh. All
You did good.
That
You
was
did
a little
good.
bit, yeah, a little bit messy, but
so
hey.
if you want to just demo just how the water beating characteristics are right now. Give me that towel.
There you go, sir.
And then, so like I said, we did a panel wipe beforehand, and you know, it's going to be tired.
Very tired,
Little
fatigued.
tired. Yeah, the
Right?
fatigue bead, as we were talking about. So a key thing to think about when you're installing your Easy Coat is make sure that you don't have a hydrant amount of water coming out. You just want a fine mist because you've got a dilution ratio to worry about as you're installing. So this is just water right now. So we've got, you know, kind of a flatter bead. And Cody, if you want to turn it up a little bit and go ahead and do an install, we could see how the instantaneous bonding occurs. So you'll see it immediately start to start beat a lot better. And like I said earlier, we've, you know, this isn't our go-to at our shop, but it's only because due to the nature of our shop, we're doing coatings on cars. But we have used it several times in a couple of my employees' cars. We've thrown it on, and it's made a tremendous difference, not only in beading and cleanability, but in the gloss. It's pretty fantastic. So you can tell that water's running off a little bit quicker than it was before. And if you want to do a rinse, Cody, we could just show this whole process. And after this is done, you basically will just be able to dry your car as you normally would. So you'd have the, we use a blower at our shop, but you could use your drying towels from the Rag Company, of course.
Whoa. A little bit too much water there, right, Evan?
Yeah, so we probably need to talk to old Levi. He said this is his dad's car, but he said he hasn't done anything to it, which we're thankful for at the moment. But I don't know that it doesn't do it justice just do easy coating. I think you should go all out and do a correction and stuff on it. So that's pretty much it, guys. It is that easy. So once you've got a clean car, that's key. Make sure your car's clean first. And then once it's just sitting with water, hook up your Easy Coat, do your install rinse, and then you're good to go to drive. You get your 3 to 4 months of protection after that. Cool. Are we going to break next?
I think we are.
Yeah.
Dane, do you got questions?
I actually do have one here. Let me throw it up on the screen here, just a moment. All right, so right here from Kirby Thompson saying, Easy Coat question, for motorhomes, this sounds perfect. How many bottles per a foot of motorhome? Levi mentioned this for a 40-footer, so use that as an example, please.
You can't hear him? Oh. For the 40-footer, we went through one bottle, actually. Did the whole thing. We didn't do the roof. We did the sides, the rear, the front, rinsed it all down. Everything did what it was supposed to do, and you're out. It was simple, fast, easy almost, right, Evan?
Right.
That's what we're going with,
That's right.
Yeah, so one bottle did a whole lot right there.
One bottle did
Okay.
a 43-footer, yes.
And so just probably for his sake, how do you normally handle, like, the rooftops and stuff on RVs?
The roof, that's a whole different animal. Usually
Yeah.
they're the textured vinyl or whatever you want to say.
True, yeah.
I mean, you could do the Easy Coat up there, but for this instance, we just did the sides of the RV, the back and the front. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I got Kirby Thompson also following up asking if we can do an air dry demonstration on the car now.
Sure. Do we have air?
Well, Levi, do we have?
I know they got a blower
An
in
air
there
dry?
somewhere. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I know. He goes to a towel company and then he wants them to
Not
find an
doing
air
that.
dryer.
It's breaking up on me there.
My goodness.
So funny.
I'll set this down.
Oh, we
Take
got some
another
comments
question,
here
Dane.
about people.
Yeah. Yeah, you got any more questions? Since we're
Drifter's
staying-
Gone Wild here wants to say he's going to use this on his new Stacker race trailer. So that's a good plan.
It's lucky my shop's not online right now. They'd be blowing us up
Oh,
with all kinds
yeah.
of questions. Just to monitor it, so.
Nah, no worries. Oh, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, look
All
at
right,
him.
so Kirby sent me an email the other day saying, you seem to know, like you're seeing everything. Like I'm seeing right into the camera, right into your computer, Kirby, right now. Well, I'm helping you out, buddy. You wanted to see it? Here you go.
It's like Tim the Toolman Taylor came out.
I think he's literally going to blow that towel off the car.
Dude, we're a towel company. I'm going to use towels.
I had Dan here in the comments. He just wanted to say he loves Evan's comment. He goes, I'm going to use ding dang easy in conversations now.
That's good. Yeah, you're welcome to use any of my vernacular.
Okay, now here's a question. I promise, a real question. We got Philip Van Boeven here. I'm going to pull him up on screen. Can Easy Coat be used on top of CSL XO? Or is C2V3 a better topper? Compatibility with CSL XO. So I was wondering which the better move is.
I would say it depends how much time you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Both of them are going to work fantastic. You're going to be able to boost up your slickness and your hydrophobics with either. But if you've only got, 60 seconds, 2 minutes extra, Easy Coat, no problem.
Coat
But
all
if you
day, all
got
day.
5 minutes, it's going to take you an extra 3 minutes to get the C2 on. So if you don't have that time. But either one is going to be a
That's
win.
a pretty tight schedule right there.
Yeah, I mean, they might have a
Maybe
high
it's date
volume
night.
shop, you know?
Yeah.
Date night.
Yeah.
You got to get the car out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good point.
And we only do 2 cars a day at our shop, so.
Now, this one you guys may not be familiar with, but I'll go ahead and pop it on the screen because it is something we sell, and he's just wondering if he were to put something on top of Easy Coat. Here he's saying any ill effects if one were to use, for example, Showstopper on top of that. Now, I know Showstopper is a product that's a gloss enhancer. It doesn't add any protection or anything like that. So I can't imagine that it would do
Let me
anything
see
to
if we
Easy
can
Coat.
Get my mic reconnected. Could somebody repeat that question to me? Sorry, I couldn't
Sure.
hear it.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay,
I
good.
can hear you. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So what I was asking was any ill effects if one were to use, for example, Showstopper on top of that. Now that's a product that we sell that is a gloss enhancer, but it does not contain any protection in it. It's just purely a gloss enhancer. So I don't think it would affect Easy Coat at all.
I don't think so either, and I'm
No.
glad you told me you sell Showstopper. I like to make fun of all other products that aren't Gtechniq. But I can't help it. The
That's
gimmick
okay.
knows best. I don't know what else to do. So
No.
Yeah.
Fans want to cover the stuff and everything else, so it's just a matter of finding the balance. But yeah, I just wanted
Right.
to check on that. Now, Kirby Thompson, of course, saying, "Blower saves my towels." Thanks, being a towel company. Thanks. Let's see. I've got Detail Dude here.
The detail.
Because I'm wondering what would happen if I use EXO instead of Halo on a wrap, will it not bond? So that's more of a technical question, not about Easy Code, sorry.
you cover that one because I think he's asking. I mean, EXO will absolutely
will
work
work, yeah.
because Halo is kind of
But-
born from EXO, as I've heard.
True.
But as far as ease of installation, man, use Halo because
sure.
it is fantabulous.
It's
for
going to be
install.
more flexible, I would think.
Well, it's built specifically for PPF and vinyl, so you're definitely going to want to
Right.
go that route regardless. So.
Yeah, it's so much more forgiving. I mean, you could do an
is very
entire
forgiving.
front. If we're doing a PPF car at our shop, we'll do the whole front clip, and then we'll come back and start to level. Whereas with EXO, you may have a little bit more hard of a time after that length of time. Both of them are pretty easy to use, but
For sure.
I mean, Halo,
There's a lot
hands
of play
down,
time with that.
yeah, is way
Okay.
easier. And in fact, I have witnessed this. Now there's a fantastic video that I send a lot of people to that Ben's done over Halo and their development and stuff. The beating is actually better with Halo on vinyl than anything else I've seen on vinyl. So I've got a vehicle that's got a vinyl wrap on it, and we put Ultra on it, and we topped it with Halo just to be testers of the product, right? And the sections with Halo actually beat better. Now longevity and stuff, I'm sure there's going to be a variance, but you're going to get exquisite beats with a Halo, and it's such an easy install. It's kind of a no-brainer. So.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I will say to everybody in the
To
comments,
prolong the life of the PPF.
yeah, for everybody in the comments, if you're wondering about Halo, we do have a section coming up where we're actually going to be talking about Halo on PPF, vinyl, all that with the Wrap Institute. So we'll be covering that a little bit later. But for right now, I will say, as far as Easy Coat goes, since you guys are holding it right there in hand, give us the quick facts here for people such as longevity, things they look for, basic care and maintenance, stuff like that that they would normally be interested in.
Yeah, so I would say that this is a maintenance product. You don't want to be like Eric said earlier. He was able to strip it off with a heavy, pH acid to get it to stop doing what it's supposed to. But it is a maintenance product. So you get 3 to 4 months on bare paint, and it's just going to enhance anything that it's put on top of. Say if that's C2 or if you've got a coating already, it's going to be a great add-on. So I would say it is a maintenance product. So every 3
Okay.
months or so, that's what you want to
So
do.
yeah, as far as like preparation goes, is there any special considerations, or is it mostly just kind of a set it
Just a
and forget
simple
it?
hand wash. I mean,
Yep.
just clean up the car.
Yeah, and you can go
Put
as
this on.
far into the prep as you want. Like I said, with one of our employees' cars, we did a W6 iron to fall out and clayed it, and then
Full decon.
full
Full
decon,
decon.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we sprayed it, and it worked great. Now, you're starting to defeat the purpose of the easiness of it if you're prepping with like
Yeah.
a wipe or something like that. So.
Which I mean, yeah, that's the whole
You can do it if
point.
you're
Is
crazy.
just go, get it done, move on.
In and out.
You're,
In and
you're
out.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if we got some like water handy. If you could like pour it on the car, I'm sure somebody just like wants to see a little bit of the action.
Actually, Eric's got a cup. He's been
Yeah.
drinking. Oh, look, we've got
If we take a
spray
closer
bottle
look
right
at
here.
that.
One from one of our other. Yes, IK.
Imagine
Shout
that.
out to
Oh,
those
imagine
guys.
that. There's a big old
Yeah,
IK
right.
sign back there, and there's sprayers all around.
Yeah, so it's let me. That's funny. So you're gonna, it's starting to separate. And now is this the beating of, putting Ultra on a car? No, but it is protection. And it's gonna make it that much easier to get it off, or get your dirt off next go round. So, and then aiding with drying. If you don't have a sheety surface, you're always gonna have an easier time drying with these fantastic microfibers that they sell here at the Rag Company.
Cool.
So, but yeah, any other questions?
Yeah, I actually just got one from a friend of ours down in the Caribbean island high humidity environment. He's saying another one in a DJ Khaled voice. How does Easy Coat fare in high humidity? So he's wondering, just like if the application changes, stuff to look for. Yeah.
Well,
so is there anything you'd have to do differently?
I would say no. Because we have, I live in Georgia. It gets pretty sticky down there.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are already pretty humid.
Horrible.
Yeah, so it's I wouldn't think it's going to be a factor that's going to, affect the application of it. So.
Okay. And as far as surfaces that it can bond to, pretty much anything you guys were saying, or are there some where it's
on your glass,
not as good?
Yeah, I think on the instructions on the bottle it says don't don't squirt directly onto like a fabric top. But it's not gonna mess anything up necessarily.
It's not gonna hurt anything.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll go on any substrate on your car, so metal, glass.
Okay, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I think that sums that up pretty nicely. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on here? I'm sure people are looking for it. Obviously, I believe we have it in the Rag Company store, so people can definitely check that out.
As well as Amazon, right?
As well as Amazon, yes. Yeah. Should be able to go there and find it there. So any other details, guys?
I think that's it, Cody. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, it was so easy. I mean, I think we're done, right?
That's the point. The segment was so easy. It's like there's really not a lot to it.
Yeah. Somehow 18 minutes long.
What was it?
Easiness.
Ding dong.
Pretty ding dang good.
Ding dang good.
And that's trying,
ding dang
man.
easy. Yeah.
No worries. Well, let's see. So what do we have coming up? Let's take a look.
Well, we've got wheels.
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, C5.
Now, we have a little while before Aaron or Konig comes on.
It's a pretty tough looking wheel.
Finding a light wheel that looks good, it's not always the easiest thing.
It can be really stressful.
Hey guys, Levi for the Rag Company, and I wanted to direct you over to our FAQ channel. Now, our FAQ channel is our way of answering all those questions you had as quickly and efficiently as possible. The FAQ channel is very simple. From whether you're just starting out detailing, you need to learn how to wash a car, or maybe you have a question on what a rinseless wash is, or something as simple as how do I wash my microfiber towels, you'll be able to find it at the Rag Company FAQ channel.
If you're watching this video, you're probably wondering how long can you store Optimum No Rinse inside of a bucket for?
The difference between an open cell and a closed cell foam pad.
Should I wash my microfiber towels after using a spray sealant? So we're going to be answering that question and more in today's FAQ video.
Well, there you have it. Hopefully now you know a little bit more about the FAQ channel, and if you're looking for it, go to YouTube and type in the Rag Company FAQ and make sure you subscribe so that you'll be aware whenever a new video comes out. Now, if you didn't see your question answered, feel free to send us an email or leave a comment right there on a video, and we will be sure to add that to our next video. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and can't wait to see you guys there. Thanks for watching.
right, guys, and welcome back. I got Eric with me here with a couple of wheels, right? We got some coatings, we got some tables, we got some towels. Can you guess what's going to happen?
I think we're going to talk about everything but tables.
Yep, everything but tables. You're exactly right. So getting into this, guys, so we've been wanting to make a live video on this for a while now, and what better way to do it than having the Gtechniq team here with us. And so on the table, right, we have Konig and Advanti wheels, right? These wheels, I chose the Konig, right, because I'm a fan of the Konig line specifically. I gave you the Advanti because I feel like that's going to produce some pretty high gloss once we get to the fun stuff of this video.
I think so.
I think so as well. And so I want to give a huge shout out to Konig and Scott over at Konig for sending out all these different wheels that we get to play with here, because this is going to be a really fun time. I really think that adding a coating to this live here at TRCMA is going to be helpful, because it's going to kind of show people the step-by-step process, and we also get to talk about it more in depth, because not only are we just going to be talking about coatings, but we're also going to be talking about wheel finishes as well. And we're going to be pulling on Scott here in just a little bit to kind of go over that kind of stuff, because believe it or not, it's much more interesting than what you think it is. It really is. And we see it every single day. People ask us questions all the time. Hey, what kind of brake cleaner, what kind of wheel cleaner can I use? What can I use on this finish or this finish or this finish? Do I need to use this kind of compound or this type of polish on this wheel? We get so many questions, and it's nice to have an actual manufacturer in the house to be able to answer those and talk about the different types of wheel finishes, the painting process, the sealing process, all of that, as well as the forging process and how these wheels are actually created and what is considered something safe to do. And I feel like with ceramic coatings, specifically C5, C5 is one of the few wheel coatings on the market that holds up, that lasts, that I have personally used on all of my stuff, and I'm very passionate about it. And I like talking about C5. I like getting people pumped on C5. You pumped me up on C5.
I tried to.
You tried to. You tried to. And it worked.
We're both wheel guys.
We are wheel guys,
I think
yes.
for every car I've owned, I've had to change the wheels at least once.
Yeah, I think, well, and that's just a standard thing, right? There's those guys that go through wheels like they do girlfriends, and they kind of, they go through a ton, right?
They're never happy.
They're never happy, and I'm like, that's a good sign. You're going to be a very old, lonely man, but you're going to have a lot of cool wheels.
Yep.
I will promise you that. And so, for me, I like finding a set of wheels that makes sense to me in terms of function. I like the weight of a wheel. I like knowing how much a wheel weighs, because I kind of look for performance, I look for structural rigidity, and I also look at the finish, and I also think how that wheel is going to flow the best with that car. And there's tons of people out there that have, can we call it questionable taste when it comes to wheels? Can I say that on here? Where they put a certain wheel.
He's looking at you with a camera.
Oh yes, sorry. Hey Jimmy, sorry. His wheel choices is okay, right? I'll give him a thumbs up. He's actually looking at a set of Konigs, by the way. So, but there's some people that will put questionable wheels on certain vehicles, right? Wheels that are maybe too large for a certain vehicle, or maybe they're just not, they don't flow the body lines. And so I'm kind of one of those picky people where I like to see a wheel, or look at options of a wheel and see, hey, what's going to flow best with this vehicle? And that's my level of pickiness. I don't know about yourself.
No, pretty much. You pretty much nailed it. Yeah, it can't. It's got to look good going down the road.
It's got to look good going down the road. Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm a big sucker for concave wheels as well, right? And
you went into that last night.
And we went into that last night, and we talked about that pretty in depth. And I know this might bore people, but trust me, I like talking about wheels. Scott from Konig likes talking about wheels as well. And if you haven't already, and if you want to learn more about wheels or more about fitment or things like that, you can check out Scott's podcast, right? They have the Konig Behind the Wheel podcast, and it's killer, man. There's tons of really, really good information, and they touch upon a lot of subjects of wheel manufacturing, wheel care, wheel maintenance, things you should and shouldn't do to a wheel, right?
Why they fit or don't fit.
Why they fit or don't fit, and he'll be rolling over in his grave, far beyond when he's dead, about those questions, right? Hey, I have these brakes, or I have this, this lug pattern. Can I get adapters? What's the largest spacer I could run? Yada yada yada. But
what's an offset?
What's an offset?
What's a back spacing?
A lot of people don't know that, right? And that's okay. I didn't know that at one time, right? The idea of offset was extremely confusing for me, and then it was explained in about 5 words by Scott, and he said, "Hey, this is how this works."
He helped me too, and I think I'm moderately dyslexic when I flip things over. So offset for me is like
we've all seen that picture, right? It says how to know what offset looks like, and it's like that white picture with an outline of like the side of a wheel, and it shows it pushed out, pushed in, and you're like, I still don't really get this.
Yeah, like it makes so much sense going this way, but then we go that way, and it's like, wait, are we still?
What does that mean? Now there's the brake caliper there. So anyway, we can get into all the nerdy stuff about wheel stuff later, but we do want to talk about the coating process. And so I have coated pretty much every single wheel that I've had in recent years, as well as my exhausts, right? So I've basically coated any type of high temperature metal bits that I wouldn't normally be able to coat with any other type of sealant, any other type of resin spray, or any other type of coating that I don't think is going to hold up in the long term, whereas C5 has absolutely held up. It's held up on my exhaust. It's held up even on the hottest parts of the exhaust where I was like, this shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing, as well as my wheels and as well as my brake calipers. So let's talk about what things that you can and can't put C5 on.
Absolutely. So you pretty much nailed it, right? So we're not coating a header or an exhaust manifold.
Correct.
Right?
So that's a different type of coating.
Especially
right?
in ceramics, right? So we get it every now and then. We'll get questions like, hey, with other products like Cerakote, right?
Yep, correct.
It does. It's very different, very different,
Completely
right? Like,
yes.
we can't coat a hot side of a turbo with our product, right?
Yeah.
And our product is not going to last on top of that product on the hot side of a turbo.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. But I would say once you get out of that engine compartment, it's pretty much fair game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you want to go crazy with your calipers, right? Good to go.
Yep.
If you're, like you said, with the exhaust, a catalytic converter or so back, I would say, right? Because a lot of the heat is up front there. Suspension components. So
absolutely,
when you're dealing with a $3,000 set of coilovers, just say, or you have custom powder coated 4-link bars for all my mini truckers like Cody out there, right? Especially the undercarriage stuff, because like if we want to be that crazy, which we are. We're going to keep it clean. We're going to keep it protected. But like, how can you really get to the 4-link bar or a pan-hard bar later on in life? For your Civic, for example, like how are you going to get to the? I'm sure you got the aluminum trailing arms and all the good bits down there.
I absolutely do have that brace on the back there. Right? It's a Flex is what it is in the Honda Civic world.
But we don't have 2-post lifts in our garage. We may have mid lifts, scissor lifts. But
we're getting older. We're going to break our backs laying on the ground.
It's hard to get there. So before you put it on, just coat it
right then and there. Yeah.
So we don't take all the coating stuff into the wheel part of this. C5 does come in 2 sizes.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is different than the rest of the line, right? So you can't get the paint coatings in this 15 milliliter bottle.
Yeah.
So C2 is in a 15 milliliter, or like EXO here is it will be in a 30 milliliter.
Yeah.
Right. So this 15 mils, as you know, this probably took care of the Civic.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Right. And that's
with actually a little bit left over.
Yeah. And that's your 4 wheels, barrels, lips, faces, and then all your other little stuff. So the viewers, don't be scared to experiment when you're done.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have some left over, don't worry about how long it's going to last. It's going to last months on a shelf.
Yeah.
Right. As long as we're not leaving it on the windowsill.
Yeah.
Right. So like they look great on Instagram photos when it's on the windowsill, but let's get it away from the sun because the sun's hot. And yes, it's going to protect against heat, but no, it's not going to like to be left in the sun open.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So the 15 mil bottle, it's going to take care of a lot of what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And use it. It's such we keep on saying easy because the Easy Coat from earlier, but it is such an easy product to use. Do not be afraid to mess it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
There are some detailers out there who get real crazy in show cars. So we're looking at this beautiful Cobra behind us. With it being quartz-based, you could, with proper personal protection equipment, you could actually use a low-volume, low-pressure airbrush and speed up your process, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it comes, again, 15 mil and 30 mil, unlike the paint coatings here, which come in a 30 mil or a 50 mil.
Yeah.
So common question. As of today, right now, even though Rob's watching, so he may take this as suggestive criticism, you cannot get a 50 mil of C5.
Okay, so if you have a 50 mil of C5, right, you might want to peel that label back because it could not be
It was either
real
a
C5.
mistake or someone's playing tricks on you.
Oh, that's not good. I don't like tricks like that. That's not a fun trick.
The other thing with C5, talking about without wheels here, right? When we really think about it, and you grew up in Boise, you're a Boise guy.
I am.
Right? July's how hot?
July, July, we're in the 90s
right?
for sure. Yeah.
And the sun you're in a valley,
yeah,
right? So
it sits, that the heat lingers, right?
Don't overthink temperature.
Okay.
Because this pickup truck behind me is a dark color. It's going to absorb all that heat. That hood is going to get, as Evan would say, pretty darn hot.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, pretty darn.
Pretty darn. So C5 just gives you that extra, gets you past what a regular ceramic coating would take care of for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So if your paint's not melting on a wheel or on a coilover
caliper
or on a hood, right? The ceramic coating is the way to go to keep that longevity. With C5, though, it's going to let you take it a little bit more extreme with the additives for the heat.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, that actually makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Is really what it does. And
people fixate. They fixate. They're like, oh my God, like, when I spray my wheel, and my wash, it sizzles off. Well, yeah, the brakes get hot for X amount of minutes.
Yes.
Right? But the hood gets hot for a really long time.
Yeah, it does.
And it will sizzle.
Yeah, and it will hold on to that heat as well. And so I tell people when it comes to C5, my favorite way to do it is wheels off. You can do it with the wheels on. It's more work is what it is. You're laying on the ground. You're sitting in an uncomfortable position. If you can get the wheels off, fantastic. And the best way to do it, if you're picking up a new set of wheels, take that new set of wheels. Before you take it to go get those tires mounted, you can coat them then, or you can coat them after you get the tires mounted. It's kind of up to you. It's personal preference there. I would say kind of the hard part about getting tires mounted on a fresh set of wheels, right, is those guys are wiping the wheels down with God knows what. Often it's paper towels, right?
Or some non-chlorinated brake clean.
Yeah, they'll wipe them down with pretty much whatever, right? And then when they're using their grease to get the tire on, right, you're having a lot of that grease residue sit on the outside of that lip, right? They're shoving that stuff over. And I don't know if you've ever seen a grease brush. Have you ever seen one of the grease brushes?
I sure have.
They're full of sand. I've seen rocks in them. I've seen hair inside them, like dog hair.
On the ground?
They sit on the ground. They're not pretty, right? And those guys are taking that, going around the ring of the tire, and whatever's residue is on there, they're shoving that over the top of the wheel, right? And I see a lot of times, man, where that lip gets really ground up. And so depending on what you want to do, if you want to protect your wheel before that happens, throw some C5 on it before it happens. You can do that. If you feel like you're going to want to fix whatever damage that could possibly happen, you can put the C5 after the tire's been mounted, but you're not going to be able to get to that ring of that lip. Once that tire's seated, unless you're a hot boy and have that stance fitment, it's not going to happen. Right?
Exactly.
And so that was a couple of big takeaways there. Another thing I want to talk about too, just really quick, and then we're going to actually start getting into this.
Hard, like wheels.
No, we're going to get into
wheels.
We're going to get into coatings.
Coating.
We're going to coat these wheels.
We're going to coat these wheels.
I'm going to put you guys to work. And so because we want to pull on Scott here in just a little bit to go in more in depth on everything. And trust me, Scott can talk forever about this stuff. He talks about it daily. But one thing I do want to talk about is coating the barrels, right? Coat the barrels after the tire's been mounted. Now, do you want to know why I say this?
I think I know, but the viewers may.
Okay. Well, from personal experience, on my most recent set of wheels, my most recent set of Mambas that I put on my mint Dodge Ram 1500.
Mint
right?
now.
Mint. Semi-mint.
Mint.
Semi-mint.
Mint.
So when I took those Mambas on there and I went to go put those on, right, I did coat the barrels. Took it down to Discount Tire. My boy Greg there, trust him, really good guy, says, hey man, I can't get these wheel weights to stick on the inside of this barrel. And I said, oh, well, that's kind of weird. Well, why not? And then it hit me, and I was like, oh, crap, I coated these things with C5, right? And I topped it with EXO on the inside of the barrel, and I'm like, oh, crap. So I said, do you have any compound or polish there? No, I got a Scotch-Brite pad. I said, don't do that. Do not do that. Please do not Scotch-Brite the inside of my wheel. So,
okay, because he's your boy.
Because he's my boy. He asked. So I said, hey, man, take one of our microfiber towels, because he does buy rag company towels, believe it or not, which is fantastic.
Okay.
I said, if you have any compound, grab a little compound, put it on there, rub that area, try to scrub it as clean as you can, a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, which actually they do use before putting wheel weights on, and he was able to get them to stick, right? I think the first tire that I took off the thing and it kind of bounced down for a quick second, wheel weight came off instantly.
Yeah.
So then we were kind of back to square one again. We got it all sorted out, but coat your barrels after the tire's been coated so you don't have to deal with that, because the last thing you want is a wheel weight coming off on your brand new wheel and bouncing around on the inside of your barrel.
And the internet will tell you both ways.
Yeah, yeah.
So I always go back to better safe than sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And if you don't have time to do it right the first time, you will not have time to find to fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're not wrong.
Yeah. So just a takeaway, right? And that's just from personal experience. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and coat. We're going to coat these wheels. We're going to actually just coat the faces, but we're not going to coat the barrels because I think that it's pretty easy. And we do have a full video on the Rag Company YouTube channel on wheel coating, and we actually have another one coming out too with those same set of wheels, right?
Wonderful.
So when I go to the barrel portion of that coating, just disregard what I'm doing about the barrel portion. Not a good idea. Just disregard that portion. I'll have to have Tim edit that out.
We all live and learn.
We all live and learn, right? And I had it happen to me before previously, but I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the EXO that really set that thing over the top. So
well, I'm no tire technician, but there are different grades of weights.
Yeah,
right?
there is different grades of weights. Absolutely.
There are some that are a bit stickier.
And I feel like the truck weights that I have they look a lot different than my wheel weights on my car.
Sure.
And so I feel like those are quite a bit different. So anyways, put our gloves on. These are sweet. Look at the inside of these gloves. They're orange.
And it is Friday the 13th because it was just Halloween. These are great.
These are Halloween gloves. Okay, so these wheels have already been cleaned. I mean, they've been wiped down, right? So we're going to go ahead and panel wipe them, right? So we're going to go straight into panel wipe. Okay, let's go grab the panel wipe. So I grabbed a Drago here. So what I'm going to do
We're on.
Okay. I like to spray more into the towel and then flip the towel, right? Otherwise, I'm going to have overspray. And this is another thing, too, is that when you're coating a wheel, try to do it methodically to where if you've already knocked out the barrel first, right, the last thing I want to do is take this and then start shooting that again, right? So in whatever order you like to do this, whatever order makes most sense for your wheels.
So we're going to coat a matte or satin finish wheel?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Heck yeah, we are. Yours is going to look crazy, right?
Mine is a gloss boss.
Yours is going to look really good. You got the more intricate wheel because, I like to make you work for it. I grabbed this. I would call this like a satin finish is what this is, right? Probably more satin around the outside of the lip and as well as the spokes themselves. And so what this is going to do, it's just going to darken the look.
Absolutely.
It's just going to deepen it.
Slightly.
So
slightly. I will tell people because they call all the time while you panel wipe that, prepping it for the coating. I tell people that even if it was dead matte, so if it's the mattest black that Scott can make for us, it is going to darken it ever so slightly, and it is going to add a minimal amount of sheen, a very small amount of sheen, which these wheels have anyway because of just how well they're manufactured. Right?
Yeah.
And then I'll tell them that it's nothing to panic about, and that 98-point-something% of the world would prefer the coated version. The same thing we'll talk about when Justin comes on with Halo, with the dead matte vinyl, right?
Yeah.
The best way to describe it is it makes, even though these are brand new, it makes it look new and it keeps it looking new longer.
Yep, absolutely. So like I said, I'm a big fan of the wheel coatings, man. And the thing is too about C5 is that it is chemical resistant, just like you would expect from a ceramic coating. So to a certain degree, right? I'm not saying go take wheel acid and go test it out.
Yeah.
But for a normal maintenance cleaning, taking let's just say you take your favorite wheel cleaner, whatever it may be, dilute that wheel cleaner because you no longer need to use that at full strength once your wheels are coated. Not necessary.
Or clean your wheels every 3 days like you were gonna do before they were coated, right?
Yeah. And I mean, really, once they're coated, especially with C5, I think honestly, man, I think a lot of wheel cleaners are overkill. I don't even think it's necessary at that point. I think you could clean them with soap and water if you wanted to, or a very diluted all-purpose cleaner, because a lot of those wheel cleaners are compensating for a lot of that heavy brake dust, a lot of that iron fallout, a lot of that extra grease and grime that gets on those wheels. And so they are going to have more of an effect that could have potentially eventually break down that coating. Whereas if you don't need it and you can get a high lubrication formula of some sort, whether it's car soap or whether it's a very diluted all-purpose cleaner, go with that. And that's what I would do.
And the proper microfiber mitt brush.
Yes.
Brush on a stick.
Correct.
Anything we're going to deal with here.
Whatever the heck you want to use, go for it. Find something you like and work with it.
You didn't really use a lot of panel wipe.
No. I used, I don't know, you can count on maybe 10 sprays.
10 sprays.
I did about 10 sprays. I basically got one side wet, damp, went through, wiped everything out. If you want to spray the faces directly, you can. It's just going to make more of a mess. And you're going to be chasing the panel wipe. Panel wipe tends to spread really easily, but you end up finding little dots of panel wipe, and you're like, oh, I missed that.
There it is.
Spreaded that too far. So
to go back to your last piece about doing it after the tires are mounted with that mounting gel or mounting solution that they use.
Yeah.
Panel wipe will find that.
Yes.
Right. And if it's a very heavy silicone that they're using to get that endless slip there, panel wipe's going to start breaking that up.
Yep.
That's sitting on the wheel, and panel wipe is finding it and kind of making it sort of ugly, right?
Yeah.
Panel wipe is not making the surface of the wheel ugly as long as it's cool to the touch and new and not a poor repair, right?
Yeah.
So we do get people who reach out and they say, oh, panel wipe ruined my wheels. I'm like, well, actually on the Rally, for example, which we weren't using panel wipe, we were just using a rinseless wash.
Yeah.
Brand new set of wheels on an Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Custom set, the guy rallied his day off hard. And he was like, you guys messed up my wheels. So so from 3 feet away, I went over and I'm like, what happened? Are these brand new? He's like, they're brand new from a very reputable wheel company. So what it ended up was that solution. So as the driving, the braking, the turning, it pushed it out of the bead, and it slimed the wheel, similar color. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So let's not panic, right? Let's use everything we know. But if we're using panel wipe, after the wheels are mounted, and you're finding that weird look, most likely you didn't ruin the surface. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. And so, haven't ruined a set of wheels with panel wipe yet, right? And knock on wood, I hope that never happens. And so, but like you said though, that solution that they're using, that grease that they're using, it can be nasty stuff. It can find its way into weird areas of the wheel, especially on when you get into really expensive wheels, right? When you get into like that $5,000, $6,000 set of wheels, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's almost like you want to be there for that. Like, can I watch you do this and put pressure on you to make sure you do it right?
Can they just show up from the manufacturer with tires on them, please?
Is that possible? Can we just do that? And so, all right. So I got this panel wiped. It's prepped. It's ready to go. There's nothing more to it. And so from here, I'm going to bring it down here. I'm hoping that there's still plenty of light here for you guys to see. And I'm going to grab an applicator.
I helped you out.
Oh, thank you very much.
I can't just stand here.
I know. And so when it comes to applying this, you can choose whatever applicator you'd like to use. So some people want to use maybe like a pearl or a sponge applicator. You can use a 3x5. You can use a 2x4. These are surprisingly useful. These are. It's one of those things to where it's kind of like when you go get your ears cleaned out or whatever it is, they use this, they swab it in there. It's able to get into things.
Or if we weren't manly men and we wore makeup.
A makeup remover or something like that, right? And so, but we don't do that, right?
We don't have, look how pale we are on camera.
There was that one time in college, but we're not going to get into that. So grabbing C5 here, right? So what I want you to do, Eric, is you tell me when I have this pad here.
So show them the two sides real fast, right? And make sure we go on the mesh side. Right, because we don't want, if you go on the unmeshed side, right, if you pull it with your fingers,
it'll start linting, right?
Yes, and with these beautiful set in black, we don't want to be chasing that lint.
Yeah.
So we're going to apply to this side here. Okay. Because if you try to pull that a little bit, it's not going to let the cotton lint up.
Correct. And this with also lubrication on it is not going to mar. It's not going to scratch anything. And so, so I'm not worried about that at all. So here we go. I'm going to start applying this. You tell me when, Eric. Ready?
I feel good there.
Okay. All right. Now for this.
What is it? We got 70 degrees in here.
It's nice. It's nice.
This is like perfect coating temperature.
It really is. So this is up to you, man. It's whatever, motion of the ocean, whatever floats your boat. You can go inward, outward, outward to inward.
Whatever
I find that if I go inward to outward, I'm not reaching in and rubbing over the work I've already done, right? So I'm trying to get that middle section done and then work my way out.
For the detailers or the at-home enthusiasts who are going to be doing this, you will learn how good you are at cleaning wheels or not cleaning wheels if you're going to coat a used set of wheels. The solvent carrier in C5 will deep clean if you miss the spot.
It absolutely will.
So do not panic if your applicator turns a little brown or a little black. Don't panic, right? We're playing with brand new wheels here because Scott hooked us up. Thank you again. And we're just not, we're not going to see a lot of that dirt and grime on the applicator. We give you 5 with the 15 ml bottle, and you have 4 wheels. You should have plenty of applicators. If not, you can always find some more on, on all of the websites.
Yep. And so what I'd like to do, so when I get to this kind of U shape on the spoke, I go all the way around, right? And I want to make sure that I am getting into that deepest, darkest area of the U.
Of the world.
That's where stuff builds up, right? That's where it gets the nastiest. And so I always want to make sure I'm getting inside there, because if that can repel all that crap, I'm going to be a much happier camper. My brushes are going to be happier. My
Now,
fingers are going to be happier.
I mean, you've coated a lot of wheels, but you seem pretty calm and cool here.
Yep.
I mean, some would say you're nuts doing what you're doing right now, putting all that coating on the surface and not chasing it. But I mean, you feel great.
This is how I do it, man. And so some people, you could do like a piece at a time if you want to do a piece at a time. But I just say like living my life on the edge here. And so now that I got that face hit right, I'm going to come back through, hit that back side of that spoke here.
And now we don't, I'm sure Scott can mention it, but that beautifully built center cap, that could be plastic. It may be.
It is plastic.
It may be metal. The bolts could be metal. But we're not worried.
I'm not worried, man. And like I said, I've coated over every plastic centerpiece I've had so far, and I haven't had any issues. So going around, hitting all that, but see how I'm writing that edge there? That would be the edge. That would be all greased up. So at that point, check your work, right? Make sure we have a nice even finish. If you have to go back and touch anything up, you can. But at that point, we're ready to start wiping. So
now for the people who've installed EXO, for example, you see that, or Crystal Serum Light, you see that radical phase change, right?
Correct, yeah.
With C1, you're going to be waiting a very long time to see that phase change. You may not even ever see it just because of the way the product is built out.
Yeah. So what I like to do, 2-towel method on this, right? I'm going to be taking my initial towel, it's going to be my knockdown towel, and this is where I'm going to just start spreading the product in. And at that point, I know that I have really good coverage on every single spoke, and from there, it's just a matter of chasing small smears, right? Not big smears, but small smears. So you want to make sure you're getting all that picked up. So I'm flipping to both sides of this pearl weave, flipping it.
Tighter nap than the towel you used for panel wipe.
Very tight, yes. So the pearl is our favorite coating towel. I like it because it doesn't get a ton of buildup. It actually is able to cut through a lot of that top layer, and it's able to not cut, but necessarily level it, is what I like to call it. So after I get in through here, I'm going back around, going back around, going back around, finish on that outward area. And this is when I'm going to come back through
Towel 2.
Towel 2. And so at this point, it is really quite literally just mopping things up. And you can tell it didn't change the finish of this wheel, right? It is still the same exact finish. It's just a little bit darker, a little bit deeper.
Enhanced.
Enhanced, yeah.
Enhanced.
Zoom in, enhance.
Zoom in.
Zoom in, enhance.
Or they can just try to play it in post, as the videographers say, but we're live. So there's no post.
Fix it in post, man. It's all good, right? We'll fix that later. They're just like Nick's behind the screen over there. Oh my God.
They gave out our secrets.
Just do it right the first time. So, but this, I can't tell you guys, this is feeling extraordinarily slick. It is feeling extremely, extremely slick. And I tell people too, when it comes down to laying C5, you're going to get that slickness. Be careful, don't drop your wheel. Because that could happen.
It is true. So there's someone here, he may want to admit later, maybe off camera.
The wheel dropper.
Who may have gotten one of the brand new Corvettes somehow, and he may have dropped one of his wheels.
Oh, man. I remember my first time dropping a wheel. Not good, right? There's also a TRC employee here that drops some wheels every once in a while, but we're not going to bring that up either.
So
right?
Just so I don't forget while you're still wiping with your second pass here, powder coated, painted, clear coated, right? Give me some more anodized.
Yep.
Give some other finishes, right?
Honestly, dude, you can do this on rattle can. I had a friend rattle can his wheels. Not that I recommend rattle canning. He did C5 on 2K clear.
There you go.
Worked phenomenal.
So with Easy Coat, there was some beautiful billets back there on the old hot rod. That's where we get a little weird, right? Bare aluminum, can you use it? Yes, right?
Yep.
Do we recommend it? Not so much, right? Just because there's so much going on that bare aluminum, and you really have to get it to that mirror shine. That is enhanced.
That's zoom in, enhance is what that is. Dude, that looks killer.
I'm staring at it.
I'm super pumped with how that looks.
And that took you, someone with a timer, I don't know, 3.5 minutes?
Yes, it took me through. Granted, it's a new wheel, right? And if I had to go through the whole process of doing decon and all that, it's going to take quite a bit longer. But that finished up beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And that's on satin matte-ish paint.
That could be one of the, in people's heads, that is one of probably the scariest finishes to go after. And 3 towels, panel wipe, C5, 1 applicator, and
Yeah.
the wheel's done.
Yeah. And whereas, I mean, basically you have more forgiveness on a gloss wheel.
Absolutely.
It's way more forgiving. You're not going to see, especially on a wheel, any type of high spot or anything like that. You could absolutely see a high spot on this.
Yes.
So work fast, right? Work fast and be accurate, right? And make sure you do it right. And so
And change as you, for the camera, change your lighting, change your positioning, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So once you're done with the wheel, if you're in your garage and you're under your fluorescents or you have your new LEDs because you got it like that, that's cool.
Yeah.
Take it outside real fast, get a really good look at it. If you see a high spot within the first couple of hours, take a clean applicator, take a little more C5 and just kind of blend the product over, reconstitute, if you will, that's the term we use, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, man. So for anybody wondering what this wheel is, this is called the Countergram, which I think that this is the first Countergram to probably ever be coated with C5 that I know of.
I've seen it on Instagram.
You've seen it? Well, you've seen it coded on Instagram?
No, I've seen the Countergram on Instagram.
Okay. Well, Countergram Instagram. I see what you're going on there.
I did that. That was funny.
But I think this is the first Countergram coated with C5. And so if anybody's interested in this wheel, you can definitely go to Konig's Wheels, Konigwheels.com, and go check them out and see what kind of wheels they have to offer. And then while you're at it, pick up a bottle of C5, right? So that when your new minty fresh wheels get in, you put some C5 on those and you're good to go. And this, I believe this is an 18 by 10.5, so it's the really concave version, and this thing looks pretty freaking
I feel like
neat.
if you were going to take a wheel from the studio today, that's top 3, if not top 2.
Yeah. I'm a sucker. There's hypergrams over there that I have on my Evo, but those are the 10.5 concave version. I got the 9.5, the A profile, the less concave version, and let's just say there's some wheel envy going on. And I'm like, how can I make these fit? Just cut into my fenders, right? That's fine.
I know we're live, but why is this Evo not here?
That's a good question. It's not clean enough to be here, right? Jimmy's Miata took precedence there, so
Okay.
I'm not going to get into it. I got bikes here anyway. So from here, what I want to do is, I don't know if you want to coat that, but we can start answering questions, whatever you like to do.
Let's jump to questions and then we'll get to coding.
Okay, cool.
That's cool.
Dane from the Beyond, are you there?
I am
Dane in
here.
the
Can you
box.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, wonderful. So, I've got a handful of questions here, perfectly summed up. There are a number of Konig and coding questions. So,
Okay.
let's talk about C5. Oh, well, there's one I'm going to save for later. But let's see. There's a lot of questions actually surrounding airbrush application of C5.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, as may have been expected. But let's see. Can Eric and crew comment on using airbrush to apply the C5? Any how-to guides or helpful tips? That's Kirby Thompson asking.
Kirby coming in hard. So we like to stay in our lane with making the product, right? And there's so many variables when you're looking to spray the product, right? So if we're going to answer your question, it's going to take us a while to do it 100% correctly. And I'm not deflecting at all here, but just jump on the Facebook detailing groups and try to poke around the search bar there and figure out the best way that's going to work for you.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, because I also had a follow-up here, also from Kirby, a little different though. Just can anyone suggest the best ways to get into those tight spots in some wheel designs with the coating? I think you guys demonstrated pretty well, but if you get even tighter, I would say that applicator can take you just about anywhere you need to go.
I would say the applicator can get you anywhere where your fingers can get into, right?
Those cotton detail swabs they have.
Cotton detail swabs, absolutely.
If you're, I mean, like to get
honestly, you could even use a Q-tip. You can
It's-
I'm not saying that's the worst thing in the world. It's just if you get enough of that C5 on that Q-tip, you're gonna have a ton of lubrication there.
No, I think you're gonna be fine.
in that tight of an area, let's just say if it does micromar or there's a little bit of an imperfection, are you gonna be going, wow, that little?
Like, are we bringing in
intricate-
magnifying glasses?
Don't stress too much
Wow,
about that.
I was
so.
going to say, anytime you go to a detail shop and you see Q-tips, you know it's serious business. So let's see, we've got here, we got Nick asking the same question. I'm just going to tell him the exact same thing. As Eric mentioned, go check out on the Facebook group. Some other people may have tried airbrushing. That is something you can look at online, see how other people fared. But as Eric said, they want to stay in their lane, so this is kind of a aftermarket experiment.
Yeah, focus on the personal protection side of it.
And Dane, and try to in these questions, try to focus. Give us a couple more C5 related questions because we actually want to pull in Scott from Konig here in just a minute. and actually start talking about wheels and actually start talking about factory finishes and things like that, because he's just a wealth of knowledge. So a couple more C5 questions and we'll pull on Scott.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saving Lewis here. I'm showing him, but I'm saving him for when we get to Scott.
A well-dressed
because he's
man.
asking about countergrams. So in addition, we also have, here's one from Wheels 8. He's the one who has the FRS in the back corner there. After having wheels powder coated, should I wait to apply C5 to allow a full cure, or will C5 not interfere with the powder coat curing?
So great question. It is gas permeable. So
Yeah,
as
okay.
long as the wheels are cured with heat, about 72 hours is our go-to textbook answer for air cure. So a powder coat, it's going to get baked. Once it cools off, 2 to 3 days later, go right to it. You're good to go.
Okay, excellent. And Brad here with the last C5 specific question. Can you top C5 with EXO? If so, what's the right number of coats of C5 and EXO and the dwell time between the coats?
To the man who does it himself.
Yeah, so I do 1 coat of EXO. I just do 1 coat. The reason for that is EXO is going to add a little bit, it's going to actually make it a little bit deeper, right? It's going to do kind of the same thing. Let's just bring it into like another shade. I did 1 coat of EXO. I didn't want to do a second coat because I felt like I was going to be chasing probably more smearing than I wanted, than what it was worth, right? Basically, I said, hey,
you found a balance.
This is the finish. This is what I like. This looks perfect. I'm going to call it good here. So I did EXO. I waited 12 hours personally. That was me, and that was just because I had time. I don't think you have to wait that long. I think you could probably wait 2 hours, 3 hours.
2 to 4.
2 to 4. Okay, so
I would say 12 seems pretty long. So
well, that's just I mean, when you have the wheels off and you have all the time in the world, that's what I wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to wait that long if you want to wait 2 to 4 hours. It's very similar with the rest of the Gtechniq system, right? I think they make things. It's very intuitive in the way most of their coatings are designed to be topped and layered, and really the 2 hour to 4 hour window is pretty much universal for all of them. And so I would say, wait a couple hours. If you want to be crazy like me, you can wait 12 hours, you can wait 24 hours, whatever you want to do. Just make sure by the time that you're coming through and applying EXO, right, make sure that the surface is still clean. Make sure you're not having to re-clean that wheel and do all that stuff. If you can knock both out in the same session, the same coating session,
it's a good day.
It's a good day. Good day.
No, and I actually got another one here from Lewis, but I also wanted to include Alkaline Towpat Dan was mentioning temperatures because you guys talked about black paint out in the sun. He was saying he has recorded temperatures in Texas between 150 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface, so that's
it gets hot.
Getting up there for sure. Now I got Lewis here. I'm going to pop him up on the screen. Naive questions possibly, but once C5 is applied, how long does C5 coating last, and when should you reapply? As usual.
Not naive at all for a well-dressed man.
No.
We are, it's all depending on how they live, right? So we say 1 to 2 years, and it's depending on how it lives, right? So if you're tracking every weekend, and I mean, your brakes are glowing versus the weekend warrior that goes to Cars and Coffee, or your daily driver, Camry that sees a car wash once a month, just say. It really depends on how they live. But I always say 12 months is a very, very, very fair.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's very solid. I mean, that's as long as you can hope for with this kind of thing. So that would definitely do it. Now, I have Carson here. Not exactly the most helpful in the world, or is it? He just says Gtechniq coatings are fire. So
that's helpful, Dane.
That's helpful, I think.
That is concrete.
It wasn't really a question,
fire.
but I can agree. They are fire. So we got that.
All right, Dane. I think it's time to start talking about some Konig wheels, right? Let's actually start jumping into some wheel manufacturing. Let's bring a professional. So we'd like to bring Scott Weiss from Konig Wheels into the stream. What's going on, man? Welcome.
There he is.
He's got the professional camera set up and everything. Look at this. He's matching what we're doing.
Look, black on white.
Black on white, I like that. Oh, Scott, make sure that mic is plugged in. I can't quite hear the mic.
You look great doing it, though.
He does. This looks professional, man. He's got this set up. Well, he's got the background blur. He's got the bokeh going on in the background, so he's got that good focus on himself. I'm sure we'll get his audio in here.
I want his audio to come through so bad.
Still nothing yet, Scott, but hey, while he's getting that figured out with the rest of the technical team, right? one thing I want to talk about Scott, right? When I actually first started talking to Scott, it was almost 3 years ago, right? When I was picking up a set of hypergrams for my Evo, and I was trying to find the perfect wheel fitment, right? I was trying to find, hey, what's something that's going to be able to clear my Brembos? What's something that's going to still have a really aggressive look? What's something that's going to have a lip on it? Everything that I wanted.
Without getting slanty.
Without getting
Right?
slanty.
That's the term now?
And so, kind of, no. I mean, it's more like, bet is like a term, or it really do be like that sometimes,
Or
though.
whatever this drip thing is.
Or the drip, yeah. There's a lot of things there. We're trying to learn like the Zillennial talk, slowly but surely.
Zillennial.
Yeah, I think that's the right
Okay,
word,
that's a
right?
thing.
Something like that.
We're
Jimmy's over here laughing. He's like, these boomers over here, I don't know what they're talking about.
Our parents are boomers.
Oh, well, we're close. So, basically, my first introduction to Scott was actually on the phone, and I called him because I wanted some expert advice on fitment, and he was extremely helpful, man. He was just somebody that guided me through the entire process. That said, here's the deal, I'm looking for something that's going to clear Brembos. I need to know the exact offset. I need to know how wide I can go. Do I need a fender roll? Do I need to do any of this stuff? And he was just extremely helpful, and he was really nice and really patient because I can understand how annoying these questions might get over time.
Sure.
I mean, you're answering the same thing for all sorts of different types of cars. So as a person, he has to learn the fitment of literally almost every single type of car that he's providing wheels for, and he was just really, really helpful. And so,
Wait, you can't unbolt this and move it, right?
it doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't work like that, right? This is what you're getting here. You're getting a flow formed. Basically, it's a forging process for this wheel, and so structurally, this thing is extremely rigid, and so you have to put this thing through hell and back to break this, right? So, with that said, he was really helpful, right, and guided me through the process, and that's when I placed my order for my set of hypergrams. Got those in. Loved them, put them on the car. He helped me with even tire fitment too, which was huge for me as well. And so helped me with tire fitment. And that was when I think, one of these days, I can't remember what I was doing. I was working on the car, ended up chipping a wheel, and I was like, oh my God, I chipped this wheel. Scott was so cool. Just said, hey, Anthony, is your address still the same? I said, yeah. Showed up to my front door, brand new wheel sitting on my front doorstep, and I was like, dude, you've won me for life.
The perks of being all day.
I don't know who that is or what you're talking about. Hey, there's another category right here. But yeah, so that was kind of my introduction to him. And then we basically went and hung out with him the first year at SEMA that we were there, talked to him, met him in person. Just a super down to earth, super cool guy.
So many wheel companies. So to find someone who is that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, right? And I feel like, and wheel companies, I feel like they are the cool kids, right? They're like, we make wheels.
For the ones who go to SEMA, they're the South haulers.
Yeah.
We're just the North haulers.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so let's go ahead and pull on Scott. There he is.
Wait, does this mean you can hear me now?
We can hear you now, man. Verizon's doing wonders nowadays. Amazing.
Oh, listen, I don't know what to tell you. I was going to tell you before that we just even queued up some LED lights. This is a real high-end operation we have going on here.
It is. I bet it is. Absolutely. So like I said, the camera looks awesome. The audio looks awesome.
Good.
Let's go ahead and start jumping into this, Scott. So if you can, just kind of give us a rundown, right? How many years has Konig been in business? How many years have you been with Konig? And what has your experience been like working within the wheel industry?
So Konig's been around for almost 40 years now, and they've kind of grown from the time where they started in that sport compact industry. They were one of the first wheel manufacturers to actually bring wheels in specifically for a Japanese craze that was kind of new to the U.S. So, in a time where 80s cars weren't necessarily the talk of the town, they brought in wheels, and it was a budding enthusiast type of movement that we've kind of grown into. So that's been good to kind of watch the evolution of this company. I've been here for 15 years, and it's been exciting probably every day. I think if you're a car enthusiast, there's nothing better than working for an automotive company. So from that, I've been pretty blessed.
Wow, man. Yeah, and that's very true. That is very true. And so
I feel like I hear a Pepsi.
Yeah, honestly, there's so much Pepsi flowing through all of our veins here. Scott, I wish you could be here. The Pepsi's is a bubbly.
It's a bubbly.
What flavor is that? Watermelon?
This is strawberry bubbly.
Oh,
sorry, Scott, I was parched, and Anthony left, so I left.
Sorry, I went and grabbed a couple Eagles.
No,
we have a couple on the table just so we can do some final wipe downs and make sure everything looks good. So
it's good. I'm super bummed that I couldn't be there because, especially first off, thanks for having us on for this monumental event. It's such a big thing.
Absolutely. Thanks. Well, thanks for joining. You're the one that made it, right? As Levi's been referring, our corporate sponsor, Konig Wheels, right? It's a real thing,
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
You're right there up there
Yeah.
with Pepsi. So,
Oh man.
what I want to get into, because I want to take questions, because I think people are going to have questions once we start talking about topics. I want to start talking about the wheel manufacturing process and what goes into the paint, on the paint side of things when it comes to wheels, right? What are they using nowadays? What type of finishes are available? What's kind of the standard operating procedure for most of these companies? Because I feel like it's probably very similar amongst many of them.
Yeah, I don't know. You would think that I would know a whole bunch about the entire, competitive landscape of wheel finishes, but the truth is I really don't. I think a lot of that has to do with us just really staying in our lane. We try to do our best to make sure that, we're really focused on us and not necessarily looking around too much. So, but as far as, finishing goes, as a factory, we make wheels for a lot of different brands. So I guess from that perspective, when it gets into coatings, I mean, we've kind of come up with our own type of system here. Most of our wheels are going to be powder coat primer, and then it goes into the different painting stages. Now, there's a lot of different finishes, the same way, cars have, multiple stage finishes and have different types of finishes that actually bring, the car to their final destination. We in wheels also have that. So sometimes you'll find things where there's tinted clear coats. Sometimes there's going to be multiple stage paints. And other times, it's going to be a little bit more straightforward. Some have more coats than others. And that really depends on the actual finish. The same way paint for a car, for your exterior finish would be.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's helpful, right? And so, so basically, what we've been talking about here, right? Coating things with C5, a ceramic coating for a wheel finish, that would still be completely relevant, right? It's paint. It's still paint we're talking about.
And it's been an interesting thing. When we were probably, I guess, about a year ago today, when we were on the podcast with you guys from SEMA last time, one of the things you said, well, how do you tell people to care for your wheels? And our answer was a very generic answer, which was we recommend using a non-acidic car wash soap and cleaning the wheels frequently. And the reason we never asked for any other or provided any other data further than that, it's just there's so many different products on the market. So how do you, as a manufacturer that doesn't deal with those products, endorse one or the other? It gets very difficult because you can't necessarily say what their makeup is or how their effect could be on your finish. So that's always been our makeup. But what's interesting is Eric, and thank you, Eric had sent me. We had this conversation before, and Eric said, hey, take some of this wheel coating. I want you to play with it a little bit and see kind of how you feel. So I've done it a little bit. Anthony, I watched your segment because I thought that I would actually learn something, so I tuned in a little early. And I will tell you, it was infuriating how easy you made it look to coat the wheel. So I don't know.
It is that easy, Scott. What are you talking about, man?
I know.
There's no movie magic here.
I'll come back home to Long Island, Scott. We'll be all right.
I'm telling you, either that or I'm just going to start shipping my wheels there before I get them on my car.
Honestly, we probably could do that. You probably say, I got my freshly coated wheels from the guys over at Gtechniq. Pretty easy, pretty simple. And so it is easy. And I think the more practice that you have, the better. And I typically tell people in customer service, when it comes to coating a wheel for the first time or doing what I did here today on camera, by the time you get to the fourth wheel,
you almost don't care.
Yeah. By the time you get to the fourth wheel, you're like, this is great. I'm doing good, right? The first wheel is going to be a learning experience. Second, you're going to be kind of getting the hang of it. Third one, you have confidence. And by the fourth one, you're like, okay, I wish I was this good on this fourth wheel as I was on that first one.
I mean, coding anxiety, it's not really a term, but it's a thing. People get it. You're fine.
Yeah, it's a thing, and it's only semi-permanent, Scott. That's the other thing you have to remember, right? You only have to wet sand it off. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to go that far, but it is definitely a good experience, and I think that for a lot of people, when it comes to maintaining their wheels, right, like you had touched up on, people often are using, still to this day, you'll see guys using Dawn dish soap. You'll see guys using Joy. You'll see guys using whatever the heck car wash shampoo they have.
Pool acid.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much whatever they can get their hands on to clean their wheels. And for me, it's frustrating to see that because I think you just invested all this money into this set of wheels, right? You just bought the set of tires, right? Before you know it, you're into this $1,500 to $2,000 before you know it, depending on what kind of setup you go with. And you go with these wheels, you go with these tires, and then you're using these really crap products on it, and then your finish starts to deteriorate, or you start using the car wash brush, the brush and the spray, the paint spray.
Oh, the colored foam.
Yeah, and then you start using that brush. I won't refer to what I like to call that brush, but it's a very bad brush, right? And they'll use that on it.
It's almost evil.
And then I see these guys, oh, just cleaned up my baby, just cleaned up my new set of wheels, and I look at it and I'm like, you have already just toasted those.
And it's not Scott's fault.
And it's not Scott's fault. And I feel like that's hard because I feel like somebody could come back on a wheel manufacturer and say, hey, my wheels are just scratched and I just cleaned them and I don't know why this happened. And then Scott has to say, well, what do you use to clean them? I use the brush at the car wash. And what does Scott have to say? Maybe use some premium microfiber towels from the rag company. Right? I don't know if that's what you say. I'm assuming that's what you say.
That's pretty much our standard. That's pretty much our standard answer. I think that one of the things that we get, calls with the most, and I believe that products like Gtechniq and ceramic coatings could really help this, is the fact that we get people that call in and their constant claim is clear coat failure or something to that extent. Yeah. But what people don't realize is that things like brake dust turn so acidic, especially when you allow the sun to kind of bake them into the coating, that it just can really deteriorate the clear coat very, very quickly. And because of that, we've done videos on our YouTube channel, and we try to put out a lot of content there as far as giving very general wheel knowledge, not necessarily specific to our brand, but one of the things that we say all the time is that it's really, really important that if you live in certain areas, you make that a consideration for when you do your wheel purchase, right? If you live in an extreme weather environment, we're in the Northeast, we're in New York, so you may want to think about having a full painted wheel. When you machine a wheel, the finish changes. Everybody thinks that this clear coat is a magical thing, but the problem is that if you want a clear coat that's going to be super brilliant, super shiny, there's not too many ways to do it. If you want to go with this really heavy clear coat, then you start to cloud up the clear coat. You can't have it both ways, right?
You start to cloud up clear coat. Yeah, exactly.
So people really do have to take their pick about what they want to do, be conscious of that when they're making their wheel purchase, and also really make sure that they're keeping contaminants off the wheel so that they don't bake into the wheel. And again, that's where I think wheel coatings really serve their place and do a really great job.
Yeah, yeah. And it makes things easier to clean. So for the guys, and we all know these type of guys, I used to be this guy. I used to be the rinse the wheel. That's it. No agitation.
You were never that.
I was
you
back in the
guy.
day. This was high school I'm talking about. But I used to be the guy that I would rinse the wheel with hard water.
Yeah, those split fives.
And walk away. And I would say, that's good, right? That's good enough. And see, that's the thing, right? You can do that. You can almost do that if you have a coated wheel. Yeah. Now, I recommend blow drying the wheel. I recommend either taking a towel to the wheel or finishing up or following up with something, so that way you don't have hard water spotting. But if that's the method you want to do, where you really do want to just rinse something and make it as easy as possible, and if you have DI water, then have at it. But C5 would make that more possible to do.
So it allows you to cut a lot of things in half and then double some, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is if you're cleaning your wheels every 4 days, you double it, because now you can clean your wheels every 8 days and get the same result.
Yeah.
If you're taking an hour to clean your 4 or 5 wheels, if you're one of these Jeep guys, because you got the one on the back, right? Cut that hour in half, and that's half an hour.
Yeah.
Right? So then to help Scott now, if he was getting these claims a year, 2 years, 3 years in, we're hoping to see those claims, double that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's really the benefit. And for the price and how little effort it takes, there's no reason to not do it.
Yeah. No, I agree fully. And so I do want to talk about something else, Scott, in terms of wheels. So this is another question. We're going to kind of get more wheel specific, right? Wheel curbing, wheel rash, all of that, right? So So what I want, you'll see where I'm getting to.
Rash happens.
Rash happens, right? And a ceramic coating is not going to stop that from happening.
No,
right?
curb will win.
Curb will win almost always. And after driving around through New Jersey and New York, I finally get why people curb their wheels.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that, living here in Idaho, where I'm like, it's just.
How many times have you parallel parked?
Like 10 times in my life.
And Scott probably did it 10 times this morning to get coffee.
So in terms of curbing, and when that stuff happens, right, and you go take a wheel to go get refinished, there's plenty of places that will go out there and they will shave a little bit off the top and they'll respray that area, right? Now, is that introducing a completely new type of paint? Is that introducing material that you don't know should be on there? Are they simply shaving down that metal? I'm sure you probably have seen this more often than I have.
Yeah, so I think we don't do any wheel repair or wheel refurbishing, but I've certainly seen plenty of it, over the course of a number of years. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of different methods, and I think it all becomes, I think it's very similar to when you go to a body shop to have a car fixed. You all think that when you have some damage, you just change the part and that's the end of it. But we all know how that's just not true. Most of the time, they're going to repair or fix things, and
just throw some
so everybody has their own way, and I can't tell you that I haven't even seen a wheel refurbisher use a little bit of filler here and there, depending on where the damage they were trying to fix was. So, a lot of times when we get the question about, should I repair a wheel? Is it okay to repair a wheel? The answer we kind of unfortunately have to give is, again, generic, which is you really need to speak to a local wheel refurbisher and ask them your questions. How are you going to fix this? Will this, impact the strength of the wheel? Is there anything there that I should worry about? Is it only cosmetic? Will the finish look the same as my other three if you only curved one? But yeah, there's a lot of different techniques that they use. I've seen people weld things up and then grind them smooth. I've seen really good ones able to just take some of the material down and then refinish. But again, it all depends. And every single time you're going to see a wheel with damage on it, it's going to be different than the one before it.
Yeah, absolutely. So one more question, and this is based around this same exact area.
Wheel aesthetics.
And what's that?
It's wheel aesthetics.
It's wheel aesthetics,
You're
right?
teaching a class on wheel aesthetics.
But this is important stuff that people always want to ask. And there's honestly, man, I could ask Scott 1,000 wheel questions and address them publicly, and people might be like, "Oh crap, I've been doing that wrong, or I've been doing that wrong." And I'm not going to get into it right now, but torquing lug nuts, right, or removing lug nuts with certain guns, or torquing the lug nuts on with guns, and all this sorts of different type of stuff. Wheel spacers, hub-centric rings. There's lots of conversation about all that kind of stuff, what's right, what's wrong. But one thing I do want to talk about is taking a wheel like this and then refinishing it completely, right? Taking it to a powder coater where they sandblast everything off, right? They repowder coat it and they heat it up. Was that going to affect the structural rigidity of the wheel in the long term, or will it affect the wheel in any shape or form?
It's a great question. We get that question every single Wednesday when we go live. Every single Wednesday, one person at least pops up and asks about if they're going to powder coat their wheels, is there a problem? So I'm going to give you the same answer that I give every single person that asks this question.
Scott? The same answer? I thought it was special.
The same answer. Listen, you can put a braking thing on the top, on the bottom. Well, listen. No, he didn't. Well, hold on. He didn't drop it. He scratched it and had a panic attack.
It's even less bad, right? I don't want to talk about it. Let's keep going.
So basically what happens is, with wheels and any brand of wheels and any kind of wheels, there's a heat treating process. And when you heat treat metal, and this is not necessarily really just to wheels, any metal, there's always going to be this fine point between, we heated it too much and all of a sudden it's brittle. We didn't heat it enough and it's soft. And the problem is that when we talk about heat treating, it's not like, one treat process, one treat, you put the wheel in the oven, it bakes for a little bit, you pull it out. Heat treating is a process, and it can take many, many hours, where they do them obviously in large batches. But the idea is that they're going to induce heat to it and then cool it in a process that is very systematic. I think that's probably the best word for it. So So yeah, there's a fine difference. Now, the one thing that we never would do, because it just doesn't make any sense, is we would never take a completed wheel after it's went through every single stage, including the finishing part, and then retest it with a different set of parameters of heat treating for powder coating. It wouldn't make any sense. We've already heat treated the wheel. We've already powder coat, primer sealed the wheel before we put any of the paint on. We've done all this, and that's what we're testing for. Now, in its basic theory, if you were to heat cycle something again, you are going to change its hardness. I mean, it's just by the basic definition.
Okay.
Now, do I imagine it to be a very marginal and minor amount because, for the powder coating process? I do. Can we answer it definitively that it doesn't change the wheel by X amount of strength? No. And remember, too, is that when we start talking about wheel testing and do wheels hold up to certain standards, it's not like there's this like you just put it into a machine, it smacks it and goes, oh, okay, it had this much hardness. There's a lot of these tests, impact tests and radial tests and lateral tests. And because of that, we test a failure over X amount of cycles. So again, even that may be tough to really pinpoint how much the percentage was that the wheel changed in hardness. So gotcha. I know I basically just told you for 2 minutes that I don't have an answer to your question, but that's the truth. And so you really do need to, think about when you refinish a wheel and you go to powder coat it, plenty of people do it. Obviously, could it affect it? Maybe. Just be cognizant. Make sure you're using somebody that's pretty well versed in what they do and not just somebody that got an easy bake powder coat oven and decided to do your wheels.
Yeah. No, well, I think that's helpful. And I think that there's people here that aren't aware of the Behind the Wheel podcast and don't know that you guys do talk about this kind of stuff. And so that's just a slight piece of information there in terms of things that are helpful. And so, but I think in terms of what we've talked about so far, everything from coating to maintenance to what Scott recommends, maybe what people should be doing and things that they can do to protect their investment, in the long term. And this isn't, guys, this isn't just specific to Konig. This is specific to all wheels, right? Mm-hmm. And this is specific to everything that you're going to spend money on because, again, this is something that you have obviously chosen to replace on your car, right? Or even on your new car, that came with your new car. Mm-hmm. That is something that makes the car move, makes the car look how it does, and excites people. People get pumped on wheels. Like I said, some people change wheels like they do girlfriends, and they're never happy, and they have a ton of wheels, and they might look back, back through their years when they're in their 70s. They're like, I remember that set of wheels. I had that back in 1962, and you're like, you're a crazy old man. Not that I say that, but
can we have them?
But we have them. There's people out there.
Wheels?
There's people out there that are like that. Yes, but. Scott, do you have anything else to kind of touch up on? Are there any useful tips that you would hand over to people and car enthusiasts that are here within the chat that you just think that, hey, this is useful information?
Yeah, actually, there is one thing, and it's in my mind because we just saw a subject that came up like this. The one thing you need to consider is that the same way a clear coat would get laid down on a car, right? There's going to be a different thickness of clear coat and paint depending on what the radius or the shape of something is. So, especially probably more useful, and I'm sure that all the detailers out there are shaking their head like, yeah, like that's pretty standard knowledge. But if you have a wheel that, let's say, is machine faced and it has a painted side, then basically those corners of the spoke are going to be sharp. They're not going to be able, just by its own essence, to hold a great amount of thickness like the face of a spoke could or the side of a spoke, a flat surface. Mm-hmm. So really be careful when you're using abrasives like brushes and different tools to be able to clean your wheels. Those areas, as they start to thin out, are going to be the areas where the clear coat will be more susceptible to failure because it basically just comes in from that really sharp corner as you wear it down, and it doesn't necessarily always appear that you've done anything bad to the clear coat, right? But what ends up happening is as soon as you get to a point where you've worn that clear coat off, your wheel doesn't have any protection, and that usually is the gateway for when you start to see people suffer clear coat failures, especially on machine wheels.
Yeah, that's
I was just glued to that.
Well, because it does. It makes a lot of sense because we've all been like, we go to that junkyard all the time, right? And we talk about how we go to that junkyard all the time. And whenever I go looking around, I see a set of wheels on the ground, I'll always notice that on these sharp edges, right, on certain types of wheels, those are the areas where things are the most chipped, the most scratched, and there's literally paint. There's no paint on it, right? There might be paint on the front of the wheel, the face of the wheel. Typically, it's pretty chewed up around the lug area, right?
Yeah.
And I get it, man.
It drives me crazy.
I've dropped a couple lug nuts, and it bounces off the face and lands on the lip, and I'm like, oh my god. So anyway, it happens.
You also run into the. I'm sure Jimmy has this problem all the time. You get those really big lip wheels, and then when you go out there and get a little road debris into the barrel, it turns into like one of those trommels.
Yep.
And then you have chips all over your barrel, and they're like,
hamster wheel is what that is.
Right, exactly right. So then they say, your wheel coating sucks. Well, hold on, like we don't sandblast it like on a regular, but listen, be cognizant. I think it's like, be cognizant. Like, there's some things, when you buy a car and it's really low to the ground, right? You buy a new exotic car, whatever it is, you're conscious when you drive over the road because it's got bumps in it, right? Like, that's part of it. So if you're going to buy a wheel with a big lip, if you're going to buy a machine-coated wheel, if you're going to not follow advice and clean your wheel frequently, expect to have some issues. And I don't want to make it seem like but this is all wheels. Just be cognizant of it so that you make the right decisions for yourself. Yeah. And you're constantly trying to prevent it and get to it before it becomes a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, I think we'll go ahead and jump to some questions. We got Dane knocking on some type of door somewhere. What the heck?
Yes, sir.
Is he wearing a beanie?
Yeah,
man. Is that
Santa? Kind of mix it up a little bit.
Did you finish your apple juice?
What is that?
Well, I did. It was delicious apple juice or apple cider. I wasn't quite sure. It was pretty fancy.
I can't take you seriously with that hat. I can't. I refuse.
You're going to have to. I got the red and green lights behind me. It's a whole thing. So, any rate here, we've got some questions. See, Scott's nodding. He gets it. Okay. So,
I get it, yeah.
Let's take a look. I'm going to go ahead and ask Scott one off the top here. Let's throw this up. Lewis asked this a little while ago before Scott got on, but I think with Scott on here, it's a great time to ask. Yeah, boy, suggestion for TRC for cleaning a set of Konig countergrams. So, just general cleaning advice when it comes to the countergrams specifically.
So
I feel like Anthony could kill this one.
Yeah, sure. Well, I just wanted to make sure you were here.
So if we're talking about this exact wheel right here, right? This is the countergram. Dude, I'm probably getting in here with this coated wheel, with this freshly coated wheel. I'm getting in here with a Detail Factory soft bristle brush. They're ultra soft brush. I'm not going to need anything more abrasive than that.
Great choice.
So I'm not going to need the boar's hair or anything stiff. I can get in there with a soft bristle brush. I'm probably going to use a very diluted brake buster, probably 10 to 1. You could use I guess you can use a fallout remover if you wanted to, but it's not necessary. It's actually almost not necessary at all. So APC, right? You can use citrus APC, heavily diluted if you want to do that. W5. You can do that 20 to 1, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, if you're caring for them, absolutely.
Yeah, you just don't need a whole lot. I'd take the soft bristle brush. I would agitate the corners, basically clean out the areas of the lugs, and then to me, in all honesty, because the wheels are coated, I'm going to clean them with a towel. I'm going to dunk my towel in my soapy water or my water, whatever I'm using. I like the Creature Edgeless. That's just me. Black Creature Edgeless are fantastic. Dunk them in there.
That's all we use in the Crown Rally.
Well, I'm just faster with a towel, right? Because I feel like when I'm using a brush, I'm going back and touching up things anyways, whereas when with a towel, I could just kind of contour to a spoke, get around that, know that I'm doing it safely, and then call it good.
You're molding
and then
into
as far
the
as the
space.
barrels go, you can do the same thing with the barrels. You can take your favorite type of barrel brush, go inside the barrels, clean that out. But once you have a coated wheel, it is insanely easy to clean. So
pressure washers are your friend.
And pressure washers are your friend, absolutely. So
now, I've got a couple questions here that you can actually do while I ask another question. So we got Nate in the comments here simply asking, he wants to see the other wheel. So if Eric could flip that up and show it to the cameras, we'll get that one up there. Oh, I love that one. That's got to be one of my absolute favorites.
It's a good look. I think the color on that's a good looking too.
We've got another one here from...
I'm a little big.
Drifter's Gone Wild here. Basically just saying Konig's best wheels out there. Big fan.
I could be a 20. Maybe Scott could tell us how to read it and figure it out.
It's in there.
We can nerd out.
Yeah, it's right there on the back of the spoke.
Back of the spoke, man.
Yeah, okay.
It's just dark in here.
It should be stamped in there. If not, there'll probably be a trusty barcode somewhere.
I'm a 19.
19? Bigger's not always better, right?
All
Who
right.
would have known that was
so,
in there?
Speaking of big wheels, I've got Juan here. I got to make sure I get his question in. Because Juan does famously have very large wheels on his Yukon, his 2016 Yukon. He says, question for Konig, I have 26-inch wheels on my 26 Yukon. I did not like the driving. What's the best way to have nice wheels and a good, I assume he means ride. So probably the compliment between not having rubber band tires and wheels. So, meat.
Yeah, you kind of nailed it. I mean, the truth is, and this is, wheels and tires go hand in hand. And when you start talking about what size tire you put on your car, it shouldn't just be what size wheel do I want to put on my car and then I got to find a tire to fit it. It really should be kind of a decision that gets factored in both ways. So with a tire, it's not only the cushion for you, but it's also the cushion for the wheel. So the thinner you go as far as tire, the taller profile tire you go, taller diameter tire you go, and you start to get away from that OE size, you start to run into issues where now you're going to increase the stiffness of the ride. Ride quality is going to suffer, and you're going to have less protection for the wheel itself. And remember that the idea here is that we're keeping the overall rolling diameter of the wheel and tire assembly the same. So that's why when you go up in wheel size, you have to kind of compromise by going down in tire height. And so what ends up happening is you're always maintaining that overall rolling diameter. I don't believe that's probable with a 26-inch wheel, but you're still going in that direction. So I would say that what you're probably saying is it's time for you to come down in diameter a little bit. The more you go down in diameter, the more tire you'll get back, and that will kind of cushion your ride. There's just really no way around it. I mean, it's like people that want concave wheels but only an 8-inch wide, and they still want to be able to clear a brake. They don't usually work together.
Yeah, he likes it stylish. He's not full donk yet, but he was heading that direction. So
Can you say that? Can you say that on here? I don't know if you can say that.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
I got all season detail. One
Donk's a
also
thing,
following
yeah.
up saying, I've noticed that if you have aftermarket wheels and you don't coat them, they'll get ruined within the first year, especially in the weather that we have here in Idaho. So kind of a mixed bag weather-wise, but yeah, I mean, it just seems like a good idea to coat wheels if you can. I mean, just do it, save yourself
ruin
the
a
headache.
set of wheels if they're on the car and you don't drive the car, right?
Well, and you figure you put that investment into a nice set of wheels.
Kidding.
What's the cost of a coating when you have an expensive set of wheels on a car? Take care of them. Just
and so
improve that lifespan.
What does C5 retail for?
$29.95.
Oh, come on, guys. You can do that.
Freaking come on. If you're going to go and spend $600 to $3,000 on a set of wheels, right?
Or per wheel.
Yeah, per wheel.
Yeah.
$30, man. $30. There you go.
Tell me for a second that we didn't just get a little QVC on here.
Oh, I know. We totally did. Look, you got a display table.
I feel like if it just comes up for the little price.
Order now. We'll throw in a
How many units do we have left, Eric?
Oh boy, the countdown clock is ticking.
Quite a bit.
Oh man. All right. So obviously this has been a lot of fun. We always love having Scott on here. You're such a resource, such an asset. Seriously, you're welcome anytime. We got to have you on one of the Q&As sometime during one of our less busy Thursdays, Yep,
absolutely.
Well, listen, I appreciate that. I really didn't do anything except reiterate probably all the things you guys have always said. So, well, thanks for coming. Thanks for allowing us to come on and just hang out for a little bit. But yeah, anytime. It's always my pleasure to hang out with you guys, and it's always good fun.
No, we
Scott,
really
did
appreciate
you-
it. Oh,
Did
go
you
ahead,
fill
Eric.
that position? Because this would be a great plug. Speaking of
Oh
QVC.
yeah, I was going to say, plug everything you got to plug right now, Scott.
We're still looking for it. We're looking for an automotive enthusiast we have a marketing coordinator position here in New York. It's not a remote position. I know that's the question that I get about 100 times a day. But if you are in the New York area or you're looking to be in the New York area and feel like you are a car enthusiast that has the ability to do some marketing, then we would like to have you here. So feel free to email us, marketing@konigwheels.com.
Okay,
excellent. And for just other general Konig questions, where can people find you guys online?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at Konig Wheels USA, and yeah, we answer as many questions, comments, and messages as we possibly can. You could always email us, so through the website. But I think that the fastest thing is really just to hit us up on social media. I will say that we have really gone for the past year and a half, 2 years, to put as much content as we possibly could on our YouTube channel. So if you're really dealing with something that you feel might be somewhat common, make sure you head over to our YouTube channel and just type it into the search, because we've put so much information out there even already, and we continue to do so. So every Wednesday we do the live podcast. You can ask us questions live, and we answer them the same way you guys kind of do on Thursdays. And we also do a piece of wheel tech every Friday. So I don't know, check it out.
Okay,
man.
no,
That's
much
awesome.
appreciated. So, guys over there, anything left to add here before we move things along?
No, I think that's great, man. Scott, thank you again, man. We really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you next. We miss you. We want to come see you. And so, and thanks for Eric for being on here and laying down some Gtechniq C5 knowledge. So that's going to be it from us.
All right, excellent, guys. Thank you so much. And we're going to take a quick little break, but thanks again, guys, really. All right, let's get moving. Hello, 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 and welcome to the promo for the Rag Company Podcast. That's right, I'm Dane Hennen. I'm your host of the Rag Company Podcast, as well as our weekly Q&As that appear on the Rag Company YouTube channel. Now, if you're looking for the podcast, you gotta head over to the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel. That's right, we've got a few channels, but if you subscribe to them all, you will not miss your Rag Company content, your Rag Company action. I know you love it, that's why you're watching this. So if you're not familiar with it, you should go check it out. We talk about detailing, we talk about cars, we talk about what we did over our weekends. It's just a chance to get to know, the folks at TRC a little bit better. Go to the Rag Company Podcast channel, go to the Rag Company YouTube channel for the Q&As, and just in general, enjoy, like a warm blanket. It's friendship. It's just something that you wear over yourself and you say, gee, this is nice. So we really want you to hang out with the Rag Company crew one way or another, be it the podcast or the Q&A. I'm inviting you, and I know Levi and Anthony are right behind the camera saying the same thing. So if you haven't already, make sure you go and subscribe to the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Rag Company YouTube channel, where we do our Q&As. It's just fun. We want to have you around. We want you to submit your comments. Let us know how things are going. We're all hanging out. It's a good time. And we all learn a bit more about detailing and cars in the process. Now, I will say, when it comes to the podcast, we're not just on YouTube. We're also on Stitcher, Spotify, any of your other audio platforms. Make sure you check, because we should be on there. And if we aren't, let us know, and we'll do our best to get on there as well. With all that said, we just want to say thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again.
All right, guys, so we're back, and hopefully you guys like that little segment with Konig, and we've got another segment this time. This time, though, talking about Gtechniq products with our friends over, I believe, in Germany at the Wrap Institute. We've got Justin, Pate, and Lors there. They're going to be, as soon as they let us know that they're ready, we'll be going to them. But basically, we want to talk about Halo and the use of Halo. We've got, oh, there's Justin popping up there. I can see him now.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing, man?
Live in center.
I am good. How are you guys? Live in
Good.
center. Welcome to the Wrap Institute in Europe.
So, Justin, this is your segment, man. Like, take your time, enjoy yourself, and let's talk. We wanted to talk about, what you're using over there. Talk about the Wrap Institute. Talk about how you're using Halo Rag Company products, but also just what you guys are doing for the Wrap Institute over there in Germany in that beautiful facility that you have, and what it really means for the automotive industry and the wrap industry.
Yeah, we actually just got done. We did a 2-day online streaming event, Wednesday and Thursday, 5 hours a day. So kind of going along right with you guys. Wrap Institute started in 2014, based in Dallas, Texas, and streamed out of there. I live in Amsterdam, so then I thought, wanted.
Oh no, we lost him. All right, well, so we got a little freeze there on Justin's. Oh, there he goes. Okay, go ahead. You froze for a second.
Okay, could you hear me or were we just frozen?
No, you just froze completely, but there you go. We hear you now. It's the beauty of live.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so we just did a whole live, we just did 2 days of live streaming, so I know exactly how you guys feel right now. So that being said, we have over 2,000 videos, and we just started calling ourselves the Wrap Flicks, because basically people were saying, we cost as much as Wrap Flicks to join as a member, and we have so many videos, and we come out with 250 brand new videos a year. So we cover anything from floors to walls to cars to PPF, color change, full print, you name it, we have it.
There you go. So now you can get your subscription to Wrap Flicks.
That's the idea. So, the industry is crossing over a lot right now in the sense that, for a long time, again, I started off wrapping. I grew up in Boise, Idaho, very clear. I'm a Boise boy. But I lived in New York City, started wrapping in 1996, 2007, moved to Amsterdam, and now I've been traveling the world a lot. But basically, my point is, the industry is crossing over a lot. And this, before you just kind of cleaned a car and wrapped a car and the car left. But now, what's the last 2 or 3 years especially, is a lot of crossover. So installers are not only going from, like, let's say, learning how to color change wrap to also knowing how to do tint and also PPF, but now we're incorporating ceramic coatings and really detailing the car before and really making money every step of the way. So a lot of shops are incorporating detailers into the repertoire as well as learning how to wrap. And so for me, it's a really exciting time, and I've been lucky enough to work a lot with Gtechniq, which has been great.
Yeah, and that's one of the fun things about having, I guess most people don't realize, like, we're all good friends, and that's kind of the fun thing is, not only are we friends, but we're also doing all these things together, and everything plays so well together. How many do you do wrapping? You do wraps out of your shop,
Yeah.
Evan.
Yeah,
Cody, do you do a lot of PPF?
Chad Parrish, actually, that's works with Justin. So
Yeah.
yes.
And Chad's a cool guy and does a lot of, I know Chad personally. Justin actually brought him over to my booth last year at SEMA to introduce him, and we've had a great email and Facebook friendship ever since. So, but yeah, it's wild, right, to have detailing, boat detailing,
It all goes
wrap,
together.
PPF, and then coatings all in one now. And then that's where a lot of the industry is starting to move towards, it's crazy because detailers and vinyl wrappers are learning, one, this is a business. You're now an entrepreneur. And that's one of the big things that Justin has always taught is efficiency and how to make money and how to make a real living at this and make a successful living, regardless of what area or market you're in. It's not just providing a service to somebody. It's actually, this is how you're going to run your business, how you're going to do these things. And that's one of the great things is the education. One that you guys provide, I mean, it's second to none.
Yeah, it's been fun, and we're a neutral platform, so we work with all different types of manufacturers. And I think, whether you're wrapping a car or you're detailing a car, I think we all, OCD is a necessary one to have to be good at what we do. But that OCD kind of means that you sometimes get so dialed in that you forget about the clock. And if you forget about the clock, you're super late, and maybe you're not being as efficient as you can. So everything we do on the Wrap Institute, we try to incorporate that money style into it in the sense that you have to think about, okay, if you're going to have time here,
how can you spend a little time here and make more money? And that's really where I think Gtechniq really comes along, in the sense that yesterday I did a whole segment on the ceiling and the up. And with that, I talked about, and we kind of turned it a little event that we did. We started doing kind of SNL kind of funny skits. So to introduce it, it was like I was at a spa and I had a mask on, and I talked about the benefits of being out. How do you go to spa? Well, you get deep cleaning, prep the surface, and then you get the moisturizers in. And what do is they tighten up your skin, make you look younger. They put UV inhibitors in, so you don't get, it makes you don't stay young longer. So that's what basically Gtechniq and ceramic, in a sense. So I leaned back in the chair, and we had this guy who was dressed as a caveman. He came by with a tortilla, kind of took a scoop off my face and ate it. So we kind of had some fun with that. But that being said, after that episode, and we had the interview with Ben and Rob, and which was great. So definitely we'll have that streaming on the Rap Institute next week. I went to a whiteboard and I basically broke it down, because the Rap Institute has been lucky enough to make the product video for Halo. And by doing that, you really dive deep into the product and what it can do, how it's applied. And when you get to that knowledge, some light bulbs go off. So my model for that episode was basically, okay, let's say you take Halo, for example. So here we have Halo, and so Halo, how long does it take to, how do you apply Halo to a wrap? 2 coats. So you put coating on, and then how long do you have to wait to apply the second coating? About an hour. That hour is juicy time. That's fun time. You can go on Instagram and you can check stuff out and just kind of chill, or that hour to make a money. So in that hour, that's when you could put, the wheel cover on. You guys just did that episode on C5, so you could put C5 on. But then you could also do C4, you could do the trim. So let's say you do these 3 products. So you put the Halo on, and then you bang these 2 out within the hour, and then you come back and put the second coating of Halo on. So basically in an hour and a half, you just made a ton of money. And especially for people who are wrapping cars today, color change, PPF, they don't really see those turns. They just focus on the car, and then the car goes out. But what we're trying to educate on the Rap Institute, and I love what you guys are doing at the Rag Company and also Gtechniq, and you and Eric especially, is showing how to, just in a little bit of time, you can really exponentially make a lot more money. And this is something that, someone who knows how to wrap a bumper doesn't have to do this as well. So like, let's say I get done wrapping the car, bounce to wrapping the next one, and let's say the prepper and someone who finishes can put the Halo on. And I think that's, for me, really exciting, because, again, you want to do what you love to do, which is, for me, wrapping. But if you're not making a lot of money doing it, it's not a good marriage. So you want to marry the two, which is what we're all about.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Eric, do you want to say anything?
No, and I think this all came about, last July,
yeah,
give or take? So you called me and you were like, hey, have you heard of this Justin Pate guy? I'm like, yeah, I've been following him for a couple of years, even though I'm not a rap guy, but really liking his platform. And I was like, man, I wish someone would do that for detailing, right? Because he took this little industry of rapping and just categorized it and just made it huge. So when you were like, can you guys help out with Ragnarok? I was like, yeah, can we come? And you were like, absolutely.
Come on down.
And now we're here, and I mean, Justin's there, but he's here.
Yeah, well,
right?
And last SEMA, you guys were right across from each other, which totally worked out even more. But yeah, that's the fun part about this is, and what I love is, Justin, I've had Halo on Ragnarok, my Suburban, for the last, 18 months now.
Yeah,
almost.
a year and a half coming up.
But I've added tons of C2V3 on top of it. I've added Easy Code on top of it. All these products, but I've been doing a lot. I even scratched the surface up, doing a little off-roading up at Bogus for our intro video that was played on Tuesday. Let's just say, probably shouldn't have done that. I went through a very tight trail and I scratched up my vinyl pretty good, but we were able to create a live video in which we were able to use, we used the last cut and some wool pads, and we were able to polish out the vinyl and bring back a lot of that gloss and get rid of some of those scratches. And then we were able to reapply a protectant over the top of it and really keep that life. And I think a lot of it was due to the Halo on the surface that allowed us to give us something to work with to be able to protect that. So the ability to allow your, for customers who are getting their work done from folks who are doing, applying vinyl wraps to people's cars, adding Halo is really protection. It's heavy protection too. It's not just, it's just an upsell, for the shop. It's legitimate protection for the investment that you're paying to have this work done. And especially, you know, there are a lot of folks that, yeah, it's maybe a company wrap, maybe it's, you know, something, you know.
But they get so dirty.
They get very dirty, they run them through a car wash, but if you can get a customer on Halo, you're actually saving them time and for their company, especially if it's a business wrap, especially if it's a 2 or 3 color or it's just a full print or, you know, something like what we did on the Suburban, really makes sense. I mean, it's economical sense to your customer to go, look, you want this, you've spent this money, you want it to look the best for the longest and kind of protect it for a very indefinite amount of time. This is the way to do it.
A fair price that's profitable for the installer.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so.
You know, and I think one thing that's nice about the ceramic coating that a lot of people especially overlook is the sense that, you know, granted it doesn't take very long to put it. You know what I love about Gtechniq is not a super expensive ceramic coating, but it's still within the price point. It's amazing. That being said, it's the idea that the customer who just spent, let's say, $3,000 to $4,000 to get a color change on their car, you know, they wrap it, and now you can say, well, we have this product. We're going to put 2 layers on it. It's going to last up to 2 years, which is great. Your hoods and roofs are going to hold their color, which is really important. For them, they're like, well, no brainer, because you can sell it for, let's say, $100, $600 for that coating, and it only takes you 1 hour to put on. I mean, for me, that's super high profits in a minimal amount of time because the value is there. And if you can show the customer the value, then you can raise the price, and then you don't have to work very hard for it. And me, this is as good as it gets. And one thing that I think you guys, and if for those of you out there who are watching, who don't have wraps or you wrap cars and you don't quite understand all the benefits that ceramic coatings do, one thing I think is really cool is the fact that actually the ceramic coating makes the wrap look better. If you have a gloss, it looks deeper and glossier. If you have a matte, it keeps that matte finish. Like right over here, we just have all the swatch books. Like again, right over here on the right, we have the color change film, where all these colors, you know, we have different finishes like satin, gloss, matte, everything. And what's really cool about Gtechniq is once you put it on, they not only look better, but the thing is, what it does is Gtechniq is one of the few, like Halo is one of the few ceramic coatings, or I think the only ceramic coating that actually change the appearance of the vinyl from start to finish. So in the sense that if the customer chose a matte red with a certain, you know, hue, that when you put the ceramic coating on it, it won't change it. With Halo, it stays exactly the same. And for a lot of ceramic coatings, it will change, in some cases, quite dramatically, what the customer chose, and then what they get might be a lot different, and that could be a big problem.
Well, and it's not just for a new installer either. So like when Justin was here last and you guys were here, we brought in the minivan. They were friends of Justin's that we had wrapped at the year event, and it had been taken care of, run through the car wash. That's how she washed it. She ran it through the car wash, she drove it. It was a daily driver. It was picking up kids, soccer practice, all kinds of stuff. And they brought it in. You did a decon wash on it, and then a reapplication of Halo. And I mean, it was crazy. It looked like it was brand new vinyl.
And the feel, right? Because when it first came in, even when we got it clean, it wasn't sticky, but your hand, like Justin looks for when he preps his surface for his vinyl with our W5 and panel wipe, he calls it the squeak.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of had that. You want the squeak under the vinyl, not on the top of the vinyl. So going back with Halo, then all of a sudden it became just glossy and slick again, and we were good to go.
And I still see that van rolling around town, and it still glows. It's crazy.
And there's our first comment.
So, and SLC Auto Styling saying Justin Pate is the GOAT.
With the fire.
With the fire. Goes over everything.
You know, and speaking of, I mean, you know, that being said too, I'm a rapper, and I've never gotten into printing and the production side of the wrap industry, and I've never really gotten into detailing in cars. And I see what you guys are doing, and it was meeting, you know, Levi, you, and then Eric, and talking about detailing, and then, you know, doing the product video where, you know, we product video this summer on, you know, we did the W5, and we also did the panel wipe. And, you know, I'm putting it on, again, Eric, you talked about that squeak, where not only am I making the product video and I'm applying it, we had a camera guy who's not even a detailer, but he's, you know, done a ton of filming for us. And again, not a car guy, but we're you know, I was cleaning up a Rolls-Royce Dawn and getting a RPF install. And even the camera guy behind the camera was like, what are you doing to that car? I've never seen that car so shiny and so bright, you know? And it's like, so for me, it was really kind of not only did the car look really good before I wrapped it, it had that extra squeak. I feel like a DJ right now. But I was going to
DJ rapper.
Yeah,
you know, it was like, this is pretty impressive stuff. And so, you know, for me, that gives me confidence as an installer. Where if I get that squeak before I wrap, I know it's going to stick. which allows me in many ways to wrap faster. So now I'm actually maybe in this industry for a long time, like 24 years now, and for the first time I'm really appreciating the detailing, the prep side on a much deeper level, because, you know, Levi, you and I have had long conversations about this, where, you know, I think a lot of wrappers can pivot now into really going deeper into the detailing side and maybe spending an extra half hour, an hour, really cleaning your car, getting that clay bar towel and getting everything super prepped, because it does make a big payoff, not only in terms of how the car will hold, but also really making sure it's smooth finish, especially now. And I think it's really important I bring up right now, and I'm kind of so confused. Right back here, it looks like there's color change film. Okay, so this is something in a segment that we just did in our 2-day event, where, you know, what's changing in the industry right now, very quick PPF film, which traditionally people see as like clear. So it's going to be clear gloss or clear matte, is now coming out with tons of colors. So that's a big shift in the industry, where the company that we actually they're one of the title sponsors of the event. They have 30 colors of PPF now, which is interesting. So, you know, over here on my right is PVC film, which is traditionally you do it dry, but now we have colors, and that's really changing the game. But the difference is the material on my right is generally around 3 to 4 mil thick, so it's a little thin. So in the sense that if you have a little speck of dirt, you kind of don't see it. Or if you have really thick film, like this film is around 8 mil thick, any little speck stands out like a sore thumb. So you really have to get your detailing right in order to get your good quality product, which is, for me, exciting, because, you know, I'm always learning. That's the slogan of our
Yeah, and that's one of the things when we did my Suburban. I remember let's just say I went a little overkill on the prep of getting it done. I spent about 2 weeks making sure all the glue was off of it, because I debadged it. I took all the emblems off. I took all the moldings off. I mean, I took everything off of it.
Handles were out.
Handles were out.
And
mirrors were out. Everything was out. And one of my favorite lines was, everybody that saw it was like, "This is the most, like, best prepped car for a wrap." And I said, "Oh, well, thank you. I just wanted to make sure it was right." But that's another thing, is a lot of vinyl. The cool thing about a detailer coming into the wrap game is the detailer looks at those things where, you know, previously guys would try and get as much of the glue off and get it done, or they'd pull emblems, or sometimes they don't pull the emblems because the customers aren't going to pay for it. And you're right, with the changing of those vinyls, the cars have to be prepped properly prior to that. So utilizing clay, you know, and our clay towel and clay in the surface to try and make sure all that surface contamination is off. There's a lot of different things that vinyl wrappers and wrap installers have had to learn how to bring on from the detailing side, just because of the changes in the vinyl and how things are laying now, and the advent of PPF.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I was with Eric. God, when was that, Eric? Earlier in the year, before it was like the Serum Summit. You guys, Levi, you guys just missed each other.
We literally passed each other on the freeway and waved. Yep. I was so bummed.
Yeah, but that being said, you know, we did a great wrap, and I was with Preston and I was with Jim, and we wrapped that Porsche, and it was flowing, and then I started talking about it, and I asked everyone there. I said, you know, how many people here, you know, it was mostly details there, and almost no one raised their hand, not even putting a stripe on. And that for me is like, wow, if you're a detailer right now, getting into color change and adding that to your, you know, what you can offer your clients right now is just really just wide open, because right now, color change. I did a segment during the 2-day demo that we had here that we streamed Wednesday and Thursday, and one of the segments we did was called COVID-proof color change wraps. And it's interesting that, you know, with COVID and everything happening this year, a lot of segments of the wrap industry kind of fell. And so a lot of people were kind of out of work, but couple segments were really popular were walls and floors, which is obviously, you know, for, you know, emergency signage and, you know, warning people to keep your distance. But color change wraps was huge this year. Colors skyrocketed. So it's a market where customers now get it. So like customers maybe 2 or 3 years ago, if I was on a plane and I was editing some videos or doing stuff, you know, people behind me would kind of ask, you know, what is that you're doing? But now, when people look at what I'm doing, they're like, oh, I have a wrapped car, or my cousin has a wrapped car. So there's more awareness for wraps, which means if people are aware of wraps, if they have an extra couple $1,000s in their pocket, and let's say they can't go on vacation, where are they going to spend that money? Maybe on a wrap. And then if you get a wrap, you can start selling your ceramic coatings, which I think is the name of the game. So have you always thought about maybe getting into wraps? I would say definitely try to get into it. And we're offering anyone watching right now a special coupon code for the Wrap Institute. It's TWI WrapFlix20, and that gets you 20% off a membership. So it's an easy way to kind of jump into it, and color change wraps are a great way to do it.
Hey, that's me down there on the bottom. Look at that. So yeah, so you guys can join the Wrap Institute, WrapFlix20. You get 20% off. And honestly, Justin's setup is probably the best way to start learning.
It's so killer.
Because it's anything and everything you want to know. Very easy to follow. Justin speaks so perfectly and teaches you so well. And shows everything you could ever want to know, from different types of manufacturers to all that stuff. So, Justin, we're going to take some questions here. So, Dane, what do you got?
Sure, yeah. Well, the first one here is just a compliment to Halo, which is Kirby Thompson saying, Halo is super great on PPF. I love it on mine. And then we've got Omar here. I'm going to pull that up. Hey, guys. 3M gloss black wrapped roof coated with EXO. 2 years later, he has bad water spots, like TRC did to the wrapped SUV. Looking to polish, help it look as best as possible. Will Halo be better than EXO?
Gentlemen, it's your side.
Eric?
Well, we kind of fielded, if that's a word. We've heard this question a little bit earlier today when we kind of got sidetracked when we were doing the easy coat. But, so, you know, a light polish to get it out, because they, you know, like you said with your adventure,
yes,
you can correct your vinyl. So I would say a light polish to kind of get everything refined. And then after that, you know, we talked about the difference between Halo and EXO. EXO is an excellent product, and so is Halo. But the ease of install on the Halo really brings it to the top. It is the easiest foolproof coating. I mean, I've done silly things like leave it over the weekend on purpose and wipe that high spot off on Monday, and it was fine. It comes off. And I think you guys did a similar thing at SEMA one year where you just left the spot.
We just left it there.
Yeah, and it still comes off. So it's very forgiving, but it also has, as I mentioned earlier on my vinyl wrapped GX, it beads better than any coating we put on any other panel. So Halo would be my suggestion, and a light polish. That 3M is, you know, it's probably the 1080. It was a couple years ago. And it's a good resilient product. You still be able to polish it out. So.
And you want to just, you know, again, water spots, whenever you're asking the water to stay on the surface to get that bead that everyone's looking for, right? It's a balance. So you can't really look at the product as causing the water spot. The minerals in the water cause the water spot. So pick up some water spot removers. So like our W9, phenomenal coating safe product, safe for vinyl, says it right on the bottle. Have that, because you're dealing with some hard water somewhere. Whether it's coming from the sky or coming from your hose, try to pinpoint and just up your maintenance routine where maybe you're not letting it go as far with the minerals sitting on that substrate.
Yep. And one other point, this is kind of a niche, you may or may not run into it. So on a PPF guard, so you've got a self-healing PPF, you know, a higher quality film is going to be able to heal itself, right? So I've experienced water spots on a black card that I had that was PPF. So I used a water spot remover, and it probably got 50% off. Then I had the damage left over. I literally was able to heat cycle that out. So, you know, try to preserve, use your film like what it's supposed to be used for. You know, if it's heat cyclable to heal it, don't remove any of the material. Try to use what it's designed for. So.
Okay. And this one I'm going to direct towards Justin. I'm going to pull that up there. I got Miguel here asking, does Halo increase the depth of color on a matte vinyl wrap? Let's say matte black vinyl.
I could probably.
Yeah, it does. In fact, so basically how it works is, you know, the surface feels smooth, but there's actually kind of peaks and valleys. So once you put on the 2 coats of Halo, basically those valleys are filled with, you know, ceramic glass. So basically what it does is, instead of, generally if you look at the vinyl without Halo coating on it, it will reflect at different angles, even with matte. But as soon as you fill it, basically it's going to reflect straight up, which creates that depth. So yeah, for sure, matte will look much better with Halo on it, in my opinion.
Okay. And guys, did you want to add something?
Yeah, so I would say too, that's always a worry, like, oh, I don't want it to change the sheen. It's gonna, well, the fear is upon installing it. We've put it on old matte.
All
3M.
sorts of matte.
Yeah, and it's, you know, you may, upon your initial application, may have a variation of your sheen, but time and time again, I've seen over, you know, even a 20-minute span, it evens out very well. So that's another benefit of using Halo.
Yep.
Okay. And this one's probably more of a technical Gtechniq question. Go figure. I'm going to put this one up here. Detail Dude asking, what is the flashing time on Halo applied on top of PPF?
I'd say 6 to 9 months.
It's very long. You have plenty of working time.
Forever.
Yeah. And don't go right to wiping it off. Let it do its thing. It was designed. Do we still have Ben? Is he queued in still?
He's probably taking a nap.
I think they're long gone.
I think it's like 1 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh no, he is! There he is!
Ben just woke up. Ben, thanks.
I don't know if we got audio of him.
Thanks for coming back. Can we hear you?
Okay. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I'm still here. Absolutely. I mean, we did extensive testing on coating dwell times. Halo is actually ready to remove at 60 seconds. That is its peak time for residue removal. As you guys know, and as Justin has pointed out perfectly as well, PPF and vinyl is a more porous substrate. So typically it requires a little bit longer dwell time to allow the coating to penetrate into the pores of the film, to cross-link, and obviously to cure. Now, one of the unique things about our formulation is that happens similar to, as we discussed with EasyGo earlier, that is almost instantaneous. Now, another unique benefit as well is dissimilar to normal quick flashing coatings, the liquid high spots on Halo actually remain liquid for up to around 7 days. So as you start to use the coating, you get more and more comfortable. As I mentioned, the coating residue is ready to remove at 60 seconds, but you can go ahead, depending on your time schedules and other things around that, you can go ahead and extend your working platform. So let's say the bonnet, do a couple of wings, maybe move into the bumper, because those liquid high spots will remain liquid. The coating has cross-linked as it needs to, but the kind of excess residue that sits on the surface will remain safe for you to come back at a later date and wipe off safely with no adverse side effects. As I say, you can probably see the machines over my shoulder. If I go that way, that is what's called a digital surface tensiometer. Now, that measures the water contact angle of the surface, which is basically the beading that everybody talks about, the beading that Eric measured. We did a lot of testing with, as I say, the dwell time. So I tried applying Halo straight away, buffing it off straight away, leaving it a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, and all of the returned water contact angle values. And also, especially, we repeated the same with the scrub machine here that we used to simulate wash cycles with various wash chemicals. It all came back exactly the same. The peak is 60 seconds, as I mentioned, but as the testament to Halo's user-friendly characteristics, you can leave it a couple of minutes, as Eric said. If you have maybe an intricate front bump and you have some dive planes on a track car, that kind of thing. So it really is a user-friendly coating.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, thank you for the detailed explanation. Yeah. I've got Miguel here with one more for you guys here. This one, people always love going off-label with the uses, I swear. We got Miguel asking, question for both, so both Justin and the guys, what's the longevity of Halo on PPF/vinyl versus on paint?
Ooh, that's for Ben.
I think that's a Ben one again.
Oh, well, okay.
So as Justin perfectly, and thank you again, Justin, great to be on live with you again. We do what's called Gtechniq Total Surface Protection. So if you have a look through our range, we do an assortment of products for every single substrate on the vehicle. So if you're an installer of our products, you can go around and really maximize your profits with, say, you can coat the glass, you can take the wheels off, coat them with C5, as you've obviously demonstrated to everybody. There's a huge range of the products. Now, Halo was really a response to an increasing demand in protection, specifically for film substrates, so vinyl and PPF. We do obviously our paint coatings. We have C1, CSL, and CSU for the accredited network. Up until Halo's release, we advised that those coatings can be used on those substrates. Don't get me wrong, they still can be. People prefer to use them, not a problem. But again, Gtechniq as a brand, we ensure that we go ahead and make sure every product that we release is as highest performing, easy to use, and of an exceptional value for money standpoint as possible. So Halo, unfortunately, it can be applied to paint, don't get me wrong, although you're not going to see any of the performance benefits and durability as you would, let's say, with the C1, CSL, CSU, if you have that applied by an accredited installer, also with the topping of EXO. So we'd like to say Halo is specifically for film, so PPF and vinyl, and And if you're looking to protect your painted substrate, then look for our alternative coating. So halo can be used on the substrate, but you won't get the benefits that you're looking for, really.
Got it. And the last question I had was actually the very same thing. It was basically Detailed Dude asking, have you ever tried using it on paint? So you got our answer there. But very, very helpful. Now, just to be helpful, extra helpful, I'm going to pop that code back on the screen one more time from the Master of Shine. Justin, go ahead and plug your stuff. Tell us all about the RAP Institute while we got a minute here.
The RAP Institute for me is a great resource in the sense that, when we launched it in 2014, it was a risk in the sense that it's a neutral platform. So we work with all manufacturers. So the content we're giving is we don't have like a secret agenda to sell a product, and we don't really push products that we don't believe in. So the idea is the information you're getting is pure. And we have a wide variety of people who do submit videos from across the world, from Japan, from South Africa, Brazil. We have a great installer in Brazil, and also Rainer Lawrence, who's my partner here in Germany. He's super, super smart. He built our whole, technical system for filming just recently, but in terms of install and coming up with new tools, really innovative. So basically my point is when you come onto the RAP Institute, you're gonna get just great information that with no hidden agenda. So it really allows you to go deep with learning, and then from that basis, then it allows you to kind of incorporate those business logic points that we really try to marry in. So the idea is that it's just really open, super great network of installers from across the world, and it's just a big open family that's just growing and growing. Again, for me, we've tried to make it as affordable as possible. We don't have a lot of advertising on the site, and you can get a membership for as low as $8 a month, which is for me a bargain for sure.
That's wonderful. Yeah, no, absolutely great stuff. And thank you to everybody for being here today. I think it's been really fun, a little bit challenging at times, but I think we've done a great job with it, bringing out a lot of information for people watching at home. So thank you, Justin. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, guys in the studio there. Everybody really chipping in. This has been a lot of fun. So I really appreciate everybody doing their thing. Now, of course, now I've given Justin the chance with Gtechniq there. Guys, we'll make sure to include links to everything below, but of course you can get Gtechniq products at the Rag Company as well.
Also, Dane, don't forget,
yes,
www.trcma.com.
Correct.
You guys can go back to there. You can find all the information on everybody that is presented today. You can get all the links. You can get links to the RAP Institute. You can get links to Gtechniq. You can get all the info that you need. And all these video clips, everything is, all the links are available there, so you can rewatch them to your heart's content.
Now that is important to note, because these videos, while we are doing this live, they're not going anywhere. They're going to continue to be around on YouTube, on Facebook, and Twitch for, our younger audience who's into that kind of thing. We got us covered for all those bases. So hopefully, if people are looking, they're curious, maybe they missed a segment, don't worry. You can always go back, leave comments, and obviously, with you guys putting your information out there, they'll be able to reach out to you if they have any questions relevant to what you offer. So, excellent. Now, I'm going to preview what's coming up later on the show, but thanks again, guys, for being here. So, let's take a look at what's left at TRCMA. All right. So, obviously, this morning we covered with Gtechniq, and we followed up with a wonderful Konig wheels with Gtechniq demonstration. And then later today we have MTM Hydro and a little bit of an announcement coming up at the end of the day. I say a little bit, but honestly, it's kind of a big deal for us. So that's going to be a ton of fun. I don't want you guys to miss it. Make sure you're here this afternoon. It's going to be a blast, and I mean that literally, because there'll be like foam cannons and stuff too. So a lot of fun coming up. Let's go ahead and take a quick 2-hour lunch break.